Nobody going to turn up. Well, hello, hello, hello.
Are you kidding? Everybody's going to turn up. They've missed us.
Yeah,
They've
we're so special,
they're
huh?
chomping at the bit for our Sunday comic chats. Hello,
Yeah.
everybody.
Hello, hello, hello.
Cheers.
Cheers. There you go. Mulled wine for me this time.
Hold on, just wait. Let me pour it first. There you
It's
go.
getting
Cheers.
well. It's not as cold as you. That's why you're having harder liquor than I am.
Yeah.
How cold is it? Winter already or not? How is Canada?
It's been winter for this year. We had plenty of snow
Mm.
like a week before Christmas already, and it's usually Halloween. Sorry,
Yeah.
a week before
Yeah. Was
Halloween. Usually on
Christmas?
Halloween it snows.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10. Last
Yeah.
year was an anomaly. We didn't have snow, but that
Uh-huh.
doesn't happen. So this year
Okay.
it's winter out there. Yeah, yeah.
Whoosh. So because I remember you sent me a picture and there was snow. I was like, this is this year? Oh, that's last year because it's like really snow already. Kind of like
Yeah.
that kind of thing is. It's weird because this weather is kind of unpredictable. It's kind of mild, but suddenly just UK doesn't get they're forecasting for us the snow and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
we've been getting like extreme rain weather, like stormy weather, where
Mm.
like 10. Okay, I don't know inches, or I'm more like a metric. So 10
Yeah, right.
millimeters, 10 millimeters an hour of
Yep.
rain. So it's kind of like you just like swim. Our
That's
like
huge.
yeah, because there's one of the main roads which we have to go in and out sometime. Well, like in one of the towns. I mean, there's many routes, like not like one little road, but the main
Mhm.
road, or which is quite busy as well. It's flooded, and you basically drive through the river before you go. But people they close the road, but people get fed up. It's like, so when you gonna sort, because nobody sorts that shit out. So every
Yeah.
year this time of the year comes in and it's just complete river. So you just basically drive through the river. Buses go through
Right.
the river. Everybody just goes through the river. Some people are, driving like they think it's a highway and just floods every single other car around it.
Yep.
There was like
And
one
floods
car
their own
was
car.
almost
Yeah.
looked like it's submerged, but it wasn't as deep, because of just
Right.
the sheer amount of water was going through it. It
Mhm.
was kind of big, and we were I was taking the bus, and the bus had water inside the bus. I was like, "Ooh,
Oof.
this is extreme." But it
Jesus.
was kind of interesting. But anyway,
Yeah.
so a lot. We just like every single like the earth is basically like like mud levels are high, and it's just like the
Mhm.
earth doesn't kind of absorb water anymore. It's just that much water.
Mhm.
And feels like, because we are like farmlands around us, feels like looking like new lakes
Flooded.
for
Yeah,
for
that's
for
crazy.
winter. For winter, it's like basically, oh look, it's a pond. I wouldn't think it was
Yeah.
a pond before, but
Yeah, yeah,
basically that's
yeah.
the sheer amount. And it's keep on, like Atlantic Ocean, we keep on getting residues, I guess, of our storms coming around.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's been kind of crazy, like
Mhm.
really. And there was forecast of this 80 miles per hour winds, which
Oof.
is absolutely devastating. It can be, especially coastlines, and they had
Yeah.
some only 60. And there was this pictures as the place where we like to go, Cornwall, which is like southwest part of the country. And there were
Yep.
waves, like massive. You've never seen in the UK waves this size.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting how the weather is these days. So yeah,
Yeah.
never predictable.
No, totally
Yeah.
not predictable.
So yeah, this is the UK for you. Sometimes.
Nocturnal Miss So. Hello.
Oh, hello. Change your name, Miss So?
Yeah, with the Peanuts, Snoopy and Woodstock
Well,
avatar there too.
very, very, very festive, which is absolutely fantastic. It's that
Mhm.
time of year. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, MIA. We were MIA as well.
Yeah, it's true.
For
Yeah.
how long it's been? Like was
2
a
or
month?
3 weeks. I think 3 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
Landrew Lopez.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, the time has been kind of like, oh, newer channel, huh? Locked out of the old one. Oh,
Oh,
I see.
bummer.
Jeez. Okay, we need to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, we due to unforeseen family information from my part. Don't blame. He's
Right.
been active, by the way. If you don't check his channel, you don't know.
Yeah, nobody cares what I have to
He's
say.
not. He's not a hermit.
Yeah, right.
He's putting those videos out left, right, and center.
Yeah,
It's me, Mua. He's doing me a favor, basically. Okay, you want to be hosting just to put
yeah,
something on your channel, because
yeah, yeah.
basically that's what it is.
Well,
He's
I
doing
think it
me a
really
favor.
was your turn, though. I think it was really,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
so. Yeah, but it's just like kind of a information, a blur in my head.
yeah.
So with a smiley face, unfortunately, I received a horrible news from a family member. My sister has cancer, bad one, stage 4 cancer, leukemia, and so I had to cry for last 3 weeks
Mhm.
before I realized that I need some brain to escape myself and everything else. So I need this Canadian to make me feel better.
Well, I said that, if you want someone who get,
Yeah,
I'm your guy. I'm your guy
yeah,
for shit talking.
yeah.
I can talk all
So
sorts of nonsense.
yeah, so I needed something like that. So I am smiling, but yeah, it's nothing else I can do anymore because I think
Yeah.
I cried out my eyes. I think it's just that moment where your information in your head is teetering away, and you just like live day by day. And you know what, the worst part of this is because I'm living further down, well, 2.5 3 hours by plane ride away from where
Mm,
the information is.
mhm.
I wake up and I check my phone, which isn't great feeling, to be honest,
Yeah.
because you always look for information and you don't want the worst, but that's how you live at the moment, because we just like, my life is here and the life is back in Lithuania.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's difficult in that part. So yeah, it's kind of
Your sister's
difficult.
older than you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's 4 years older than I am.
4 years.
uh,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, so she's only one, we two kids in the
Mhm.
family. And yeah, unfortunate situation happened where you screen yourself, you look at information, but then she found out something quite in the late stages, it seems to be, because nobody could understand what's happening to her until kind of like visible signs had been visible, and she just basically showed the doctors and they found out, and now she's doing chemo. Thankfully, she's, I think, doing okay, to be honest. I thought they will tell me that and she was herself saying to me that I will be maybe puking my guts out, but she's not, like, she has days.
Mhm.
The only thing what's really scary is that she can't really walk much and she needs to
Yeah.
walk. And she has to inject herself, which is, I know the feeling. It's actually quite horrible because injecting yourself with needles is something of the brain problems, where when your actual hands, or like, you can do it, seems to be, but if is the moment to do it is very difficult. I found
Yeah.
that as well, because I had to do the same similar thing, not chemo wise on the cancer, but treatment wise. So she
Mhm.
was having calling me to ask about like, how does it feel. I was like, I don't know how. It's like, I don't know how to feel about chemo. I
Yeah.
kind of
Right.
know the motion. So I
Yeah.
gave her pointers, which is, I felt kind of silly, but it helped her. She did it, and she seems to be able to do it herself, which is absolutely fantastic. I think
That's great. Yeah.
it gives you a boost of kind of confidence as well, because it's not
Well, and
easy.
also that you're actively trying to fight it. You know what I mean? Like it must give you
Yeah,
that feeling as well that
yeah,
I am actively in there
yeah.
trying to deal with this.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So she has to unfortunately do it sitting down, but
Right.
your brain is, we have this brain which is makes us tick, but it also tricks us most of the time, because it gives you side effects, so you can pass out. There's
Mm.
one, I did that several times
Mhm.
while I was injecting myself. So you inject, everything's fine, you remove the needle, and your brain, and you like you can
Yeah.
lose your
Right.
conscious for like seconds.
Yeah.
And she said she started feeling really weak after that. But it's funny how
Mhm.
your brain is, sometimes your movements and your head and how strong you feel, like mentally, your brain still says to you, or maybe not.
Mhm.
So you have to deal with that situation. So that's 3 weeks, and we counting days, we looking forward to it. Well, at least I'm kind of like, I'm going to be positive, I'm going to look forward to talk because I get informations daily. I'm basically demand information. I demand clear information also.
Yeah.
My mom tried to protect me several times. I said, from what?
Yeah,
I'm not
that doesn't
I'm
help.
not I'm not 2-year-old anymore.
That's right.
I'm not 10-year-old anymore.
That's
I
right.
don't
Yeah.
need to sit down and have a talk. Unfortunately, you have to give me the whole full-blown information without
That's right.
making it anything prettier than that. And because I will be more upset if I wouldn't get the information, because
Mhm.
then I know I can't deal with that.
Yeah, you can't fully cope if you've only got some of the info. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Andrew, I am sorry for that family member of
Yeah, sorry to
yours.
hear that too. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's interesting the feeling you are in when you are somebody else's have especially close person of your family has to deal with that and you can't do nothing. You know, it's interesting the conversations you having with the person as well.
Mhm.
And I'm kind of like I become, I don't know how you, but I become a silly clown. You know, like I try to talk nonsense to make her mood lift up. I always try
Mhm.
to be a positive note. And then she's like, "Oh, is it, why you?" Oh, and I'm very kind of straightforward at the same time. So
Mhm.
my sister says, like, "Why don't you just, you know, like, why don't you just shush the send, like, make the sentence nicer?" It's like, "What do you want me just, you know, just like make it feel pretty at this situation
Yeah.
at the moment?" And she's like, "No, no, no." So yeah, I'm a very straightforward person when it comes to feelings
Yeah.
and stuff. Anyway, so that's why I haven't been around. So no stands a chance because of that.
And I think the other thing, like we were talking about before we went on the stream too, like the
Mm,
importance of, all
yeah.
of us old time YouTubers are just, we're not getting younger. So like keep on top of that shit, get
Yeah.
tested, go see your doctors. You know what I mean? Like you hear story after story of people who aren't
Mhm.
going. And I totally understand, depending on where you live in the world, that can sometimes be really unrealistic and financially difficult.
Yeah.
But I mean, I really think like you've got to try to stay on top of things.
Mm.
Um, I just turned 50 and I got a little card in the mail in Canada here where you take 3 days and you smear poop on it and you send it in just for like kind of pre-screening. And I was on top of that like immediately. You
Yeah.
gotta try your best to stay on top of things and go see your doctor and go and talk to someone if you're
Mhm.
noticing
Mhm.
differences in your body that weren't there before, or even just feelings of whatever it is when it's comes to what's happening with your own body, right? You know your body better than anybody else. So if there's
Yeah.
changes you're noticing, you should go and talk to somebody. Don't put it off.
Mhm.
Don't be stubborn. Don't be scared. Fucking get in there, man.
Yeah. And that's the thing what happened unfortunately with my sisters. They couldn't find it. This one is not, it's a rare type of cancer, unfortunately.
Hmm.
Leukemia isn't easy to just like found out, especially there's so many of them apparently, and to find the truth, like actual find out that you actually have it, your blood doesn't really say. Apparently her case in particularly, so she had this ultrasound, which, or no, they injected her radiation and she went through MRI system where they
Yep.
basically at that showed everything, clear picture of what's happening in her body, and that's the
Hmm.
only time they actually were able to say that she actually has leukemia and stuff like that. So it's
Right.
extreme version of that. So unfortunately for some, it doesn't appear as quickly as you want it. And my
Well, and
sister's
Miss
case,
Miss
that
Soul has a good point too. Like your
yeah,
family history plays a lot of it
yeah,
in it as well too. So I mean, if you don't know your family history and you
yeah.
are still in touch with your family, like talking to your family about stuff, like you gotta try your best to get that information so you can pre-screen earlier.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. Well, we didn't. That's the thing. We thought we didn't have any in my side
Mm,
of the family, but then my
mm.
mom recollected when she was 6 years old, her cousin had. But then she was
Uh,
6, and my mom is now 70. So
yeah, 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 yeah.
recollecting that kind of
Of
memories, kind
course.
of
Yeah, it doesn't come to
you,
the top of your mind.
you
Yeah.
know, you're a child. You think some
Mhm.
not you don't think clearly what's happening to you, and she never thought that we didn't have in the family. And then when this situation happened, she started like maybe your memory, like just like click click click, okay, ding ding ding, there you go.
Mhm, mhm.
So yeah, so it's kind of interesting how that comes into effect as well. So now I honestly I should go through it as well. um because now that she has it, you never know, I could have it as well. So
Totally. Yep.
mhm. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. My sister is getting that kind of her complete immune system is removed. There's nothing in left, no hormones, no white blood cells, not red blood cells, nothing, no vitamins, no nothing. They complete the chemo she's getting. It's completely wiped that out for now. So we will see what's next for her. She will be going again to the doctors to see if there's any progress or how she is at the moment. Do they need to do anything else? Because now, luckily enough for her, our national health service in Lithuania is supporting her in that endeavor, which is saving grace for some people, to be honest. And
Mhm.
it's shocking, but to understand it doesn't work everywhere in the other countries in the world. But thankfully she's, well, I said to my mom, she's in the right place. She's
Yep.
getting that.
That's
Money
right.
wise, the treatments are crazy priced these days.
Yep.
For one example, the drug she needs to take is 70,000 euros a treatment. So it's not somebody has it every single day to in their back pocket. So
Hmm.
in that sense, we lucked out. So that's a good sign. So we keep on saying, like, we're finding good things to talk to her about. Good place, you're in the right place. Like, you're not
Hmm.
somewhere where there's no proper treatment
Coming out of your
places.
pocket.
Also, she
I
lives
can't
in
even
the
fucking
town.
imagine.
Yeah, she lives in a town where the whole country's cancer hospital wing is specializing for that in the town where she's living. So she doesn't
Hmm.
have to travel either. Whole country travels to the town where I'm from, where she lives.
Oh, okay.
So every single high end doctors you want is in my town where she
Oh,
lives.
wow. Yeah.
So yeah, and they're one of the oncology census in charge person. She's actually in charge of an army as well. So she has several. The doctor who's in charge of that oncology wing. She's also in charge of the military well-being as well. So she's kind of like high
Mm.
up, right up
Interesting.
top. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially in
especially
the
if,
States,
yeah. I mean, I can't even like.
which is fucking crazy, man. That's a whole other conversation. Like, that's just fucking bonkers, man. I can't
Mm,
even
yeah, it's just,
imagine that.
yeah, it's a different, like, as I say, you don't understand until you kind of like, it's right there in your face. You come on, wake
Yep.
up. It's time to see what's happening around you. So, and that's the
Hmm.
thing, we don't usually. One thing about UK is, I think, is great, is that cancer is everywhere. Like, cancer information is around you,
Mm.
surrounded you.
Hmm.
A lot of charities are cancer based. I actually, charity shops, I would keep on talking to you guys about, oh, like, I found those turtles books, is because it's cancer treatment charity place. We go in and
Oh,
find
right.
some stuff. So that's how you basically put money into that, because they
Mm.
basically, all the chunk of whatever they make goes to the charity. That's how they work. So
Hmm.
that kind of thing is always around you. So we always, like, literally, kids sees it, like, why, oh, what is this shop called? British Cancer, the charity shop, because they dedicated themselves completely to cancer. There's
Mm.
this Macmillan place, again, another side of the cancer, other treatment. So we always around it in High Street. You will definitely see at least 2 or 3 charity shops which are based for British cancer, is like the one side of the cancer, another side of the cancer. You just, just one of the, which is, I think, is fantastic, because makes you aware it does exist. You can't live in denial. Lots of people are
Hmm.
going through that. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
yeah,
And
it's,
again, makes you feel like you can contribute. You can try to
oh yeah,
help out.
like,
Yeah.
sometimes you feel awkward when people comes and ask for it, rather than you doing it your own
Right.
thing and willingly kind of give that away for it. So I
Hmm.
always go charity shops. Is my first choice of going to shop in that kind of
Hmm.
environment. Used, but also helped. So I know I do both. I not only help myself with that kind of thing, but also I know I'm helping towards something else. And
Yeah,
always
totally.
go. It's like, it's a thing for me now. It's like unconscious way. It's just go that first, spend as much money as I possibly can if I wanted to, and I know I put some money towards it, so I don't feel like I haven't done anything towards it,
Yeah,
so
right. Yeah.
anyway, on that note, now you all
See you
now
later,
that
everybody.
now that you all know the situation,
Yeah.
I was talking. We always do talk about what we watched.
Yep.
So I was trying to watch. Oh, I watched. Oh, yeah, exactly. I watched Loki and I finished it.
Oh, you finished? Oh, it's done already.
Yes, only 6
Okay.
episodes.
Only 6. Okay, we're halfway through. We watched the first 3.
Oh, nice.
Thank you, Miss Hill.
And so 6 episodes, and I'm not sure if I liked it.
Yeah.
Or I'm not saying I didn't dislike it, but I'm not sure if
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I enjoy Loki's. I think Tom is absolutely fantastic actor and is right for
He's
that
great.
role.
I
He's like
agree.
a superstar of that.
Mhm.
I absolutely adore that they included another actor from the well-known what's his name, Agent. Oh my god, his name is
Yeah, right.
always, you
From
know,
Indiana Jones, whatever.
yeah,
I know
Indiana
exactly
Jones
what you're talking about.
child. Yeah,
Yep.
he's been having, like, now he's become so famous again because they won Oscar as well, the movie. So anyway, so he's there and he's fantastic in that. Yeah, finale was like, yes, that's the thing. Finale was good, so which is good. But the whole thing until this Disney's formula, which apparently they're going to change, it's completely like stagnating until right the finale.
Was that his
And
name? Was Andrew saying his name? Is that his name in the Indiana Jones
short
short
round.
round?
I
Yeah.
think so. I think so. So he's in there, and has really good character as well. I think all
Yeah.
of the cast in generally, because the way we were talking, like, okay, it's no secret. It's a lot of timeline situations, and when the timeline gets involved, everybody gets confused because nobody
Yeah, because
bloody
it's fucking
understands it.
convoluted. Yeah.
I was trying
Yeah.
to, like, it's funny. There was a short conversation for me to, oh, this is 616 universe. And my husband looks at me like, what? What is
Yeah.
616? Well, this is the universe. What you know? It's like, what do you mean? And you
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
just saying that, people get completely confused. So, the
Yeah.
Miles Morales, he's not from 616. It's like, what? Why is not from 616? Well, because he's not. So is that kind of conversation becomes quite interesting.
Yeah.
And that's very confusing. What I really liked, the who he doesn't belong, whatever that guy,
Yeah.
yeah. So he is there, and he has astounding acting skills. And then he sees this other version of him, and you just like, Jesus, he's completely the same face, but he's doing something different once again, which is astoundingly amazing. That there's the level they able to employ in Disney. I mean, they are rich, come on, so they can afford it. I heard also that he was basically, they were trying to cancel him, but apparently that was somebody was trying to basically cancel him, but they didn't work out. I hope that's the right information, but these days our information is not really, because he was sent to court and they're saying that his career is going to be over because of that. But apparently it's not. I heard something that it was complete bullshit, and that he was not involved in that situation.
Right.
So I don't know if it's true or not, because these days you have to sample, you sample information and you don't know what's right, what's wrong. In general, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed everybody. Mobius, the guy, the crooked nose guy. What is his name again?
The Coke nose guy. Yeah.
He's fantastic there. There's this scene in the shop which you're gonna see. It's like spot on. It's like what you know about the character or the actor in generally, and this is like sweet spot, and he shows you that, and he's just like, that's to talk he does, those lipsy pounds, and there are lots of like people are trying to, like, when they talk, like try to pretend to be him. It's just such a key moment, and you laugh, or you like admire, but that nose is just gets distracting. Come on, looking. So so I don't know if I enjoyed the finale for sure, but I'm not sure if I can tell you if I could I recommend it. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because it's too complicated. It's
so convoluted, dude.
Yeah,
it's so convoluted.
they dwelling into a situation where even the person who, myself, for example, I've been reading comic books for 10 years, and I do
Yeah.
enjoy Marvel Universe. Even I didn't understand fraction of what they were talking were,
Mhm.
why we were going there. And it's just so because it doesn't make your head to like, they give you some information but it never explains fully, kind of explains afterwards, but they also changing it. So not only they trying to show you what there is, what there will, but they want to show you what there will be, because they
Mhm.
kind of changing Loki's character in generally and his history, because the ending. So I'm
Mhm.
kind of being a bit vague, but it needs to
Yeah,
be
right,
seen by
right.
yourself and then we can discuss it. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
gotta finish it.
but if you have watched it, I definitely finish it because it's gonna
Yeah.
answer some of the questions for sure. But the Loki and Tom's acting is just superb, and I think it's
Yeah.
just, it makes you, it does it because he's mischievous, what you know for Marvel Universe, for comic universe, and here it's much more vulnerable.
Mhm.
And it's kind of intriguing how to see Loki in that realm, because everybody speculated, well, this is not the comic or Loki. It's never been though. It's at the
No,
end of the day, it's
exactly.
a movie Loki, you know?
It's a movie. That's right.
Yeah, yeah,
And people
exactly.
need to get off of that shit to some degree. It's not a fucking comic book. If you want the comic
Unfortunate.
book character,
Yeah,
read the fucking comic books.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's intriguing, honestly. All I agree with having the TV shows, movies, whatever. If people can come to comic universe and explore that realm, it gets you excited about reading comic books. Go watch it as many as
Yep.
you want. Get excited about comic books and go to the comic book shop. Get confused about everything Marvel produces at the moment,
Yeah.
and then close the door behind you if that
Yeah.
doesn't going to click it. But because guess what, Marvel is not going to make it easy for you.
Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out.
Because guess what, you go to a comic book person, I don't know, who is in shop working, he's a specialist or he's reading Marvel from the beginning
Right.
or what, they confuse as well. So believe me,
Well, and
it's
I would just
extreme.
add to that, go and explore the Marvel books, go and
Yeah,
do that, and then
look at the pretty
say fuck
pictures.
all that shit and walk over to the independent
Yeah,
section and
yeah,
actually read
but
comics that you can catch up on and understand because it's its own contained thing. Like, don't totally leave the comic shop, just explore that world and then come to us. Come over to our side of
yeah.
things, and you'll be much happier, trust me.
Or there's an advice: open the door. If you don't have independent line, close the door and run away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they have to have everything. I mean, I was
Yeah.
listening just to podcasts these days. I started listening to podcasts again. Very long time I haven't had listened to one, and they were talking about the person we interviewed is from Skybound, and
Mm.
Skybound Images, and they have those fractions now, and they have another people groups of who is in charge of what, and they were talking about how important it is actually to produce the right products and put it on the shelves that people actually understand, and the variants can confuse people to no end and actually make them go away from your business and never
Hmm.
get you there.
Yeah.
The movie, so yeah. But now it's encouragement for me to start reading. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like we always talk about, it's fun to dip into it and stuff, but
Yeah.
honestly, like, my heart is always more in indies and things. I'll dip into the Marvel and
Yeah.
DC stuff, and
Huh.
as long as you go in with your eyes wide open. And
Yeah.
just on that point, Comics Journal had a
Yeah.
article online where they're talking to a comic
Oh.
shop owner from Los Angeles, I think,
Mhm.
and his 2 stores are closing, and he
Mhm.
talks about kind of like the state of comic book stores in general these days, and how there's not a lot of dialogue between um, shop owners and that side of things with like the Marvels and DCs of the world as far as distribution goes. And that obviously there's things like COVID that have changed things. There's financial things that have changed things. There's a million things. He doesn't just like lay the blame on anybody by any stretch, but it's just this myriad of stuff that's kind of affecting
Mm.
these comic shops, where it's just not as easy to even walk into comic shops anymore because they're closing just due to financial strain. And
Yep.
he mentions about the indie world. He's like, I'd love to carry more indies, but that's like 100 books, and I can't buy everything, and I can't have all that stock sitting on the shelves. Where as back in the day, I could buy 100 copies of the newest X-Men issue, sell 75 of them, and still be
Mhm.
able to maintain. It was just easier to deal with things. It's harder for shops these days with all of the
Mhm.
options. Like, we always talk about the amount of options that are out there, but for a
Mhm.
comic shop, that those options aren't as easy for them. I mean, in his case, he's had to close down something that it's a business his dad started in 1970 something, 74, 76,
Wow.
77,
Wow.
somewhere
Wow.
around there. And then he now has to shut down because he just can't do it. Because again, it's a changing world. People are buying stuff online. People aren't buying comics like they used to, et cetera, et cetera. It was a pretty good article, especially for the fact that he doesn't try to pin it on one thing. He
Yeah.
kind of just pins it on a number of things that just are coming to a head, so which I think is a much more realistic outlook on it than just pointing at one direction.
I just had snippet information though. I usually talk to my comic book guy once a month, maybe. Like just because like something I'm missing, or just I want to see how he's going, because the guy's been working by himself for years to just have the shop open.
Mm,
And just by having 2-minute conversation about it, he said, "Do you remember that day when we were complaining about Diamond?
mm,
It was the heyday of comic books, and we were
mm-hmm.
moaning that there was this empire which were produced by because of them. We had to distribute to them, and then they distribute to others, and then how difficult it used to be about doing this. But now we have like what, 5 distribution points, if I understood
Yep,
properly." And in each of them has a different way of dealing with the situation. And he
yep,
said, "I have to order comic books for you guys, and each of you have a different taste. If I want to, especially the ones who he says comes regularly, the long-term customers, not just
mm-hmm.
one who comes in once in the blue moon." And believe me, I'd sometimes can just chuck everything up in the air and leave it. There were so many
Yep,
times he said he had to be dealing with that, but somehow that passion of his still flaming in his heart so much that he still continues doing this stuff. And
yep,
every single time I have a conversation, he's like, "No, no, I don't even want to talk about it." But then he's like a huge fan of Marvel, and he always
mm-hmm.
been following Marvel throughout his working life, and like all that. And he said, "I'm so confused with them. I don't understand. I don't know what to say to people, what to read." He only says, "Go back into the whatever used to be," like all that. He even says to them, that read that first and see if you're gonna like it. Even unfortunately, he says you have to read an event, because that's where it would kickstart that several months of Marvel, because this is where they're focusing it on.
Chapter. Right,
Yeah,
right,
exactly. It's like a big chunk of the universe will be in that
right.
moment in this time. So if you like this, whatever event will happen, then you can go forward with your Marvels and order it.
Yeah. I've always had mixed feelings about that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I don't know how much I want to get into it, but it's like I've always had mixed feelings because it's like
yeah,
all of us started somewhere. Think about
yeah,
yourself 10 years ago. You
yeah,
had to start in a situation with a
yeah,
comic that you
yeah,
didn't know what was coming before it, but you started. And
yeah,
then you eventually figured out what you wanted to figure out and you found your niche. You know what I mean? Like, I've never really totally bought that you have to start at a certain spot. You can
yeah,
start anywhere and then
yeah,
you can figure out if you like it. People
yeah,
want to come into stuff knowing the whole story. It's kind of a running joke in our house when I'm watching shows with my wife
yeah,
and daughter, because they're
yeah,
asking me what's going on and what's going to happen. It's like, the beauty of a story is it starts at the beginning and then it tells you the story, and then at the end you've got the story. Shut the fuck up and listen to the story. I love you, but shut the fuck up. But it's that kind of idea of going into something feeling like you need to know everything. You don't.
yeah.
You'll figure it out. You'll find your footing. You'll find it. And then just to back up to that point about the distribution, that's something he mentions in the article too, that it's
Uh,
become increasingly difficult because there's different release
yeah,
days. And he
yeah,
talks about how it's pretty much the people that subscribe
yeah,
have subscription services. That's what's
yeah.
keeping his business. So much so that he's going to close the stores. He's still going to keep up the pull lists for people. And
Oh
he's at a
wow.
part where I don't think this is realistic, but it's his decision. He's going to hand deliver. He's going to drive around and deliver people's pull lists to their house. So he feels that
Wow.
there's enough in there for him to kind of, I think that's mental talk, but whatever.
Yeah,
It's his decision. He knows his world better than
yeah,
I do. But
yeah.
that's where he feels like the thing that's keeping him going. Also, his love of comics and stuff obviously is the big thing that's keeping him going. But
Yeah.
this idea of people that are doing the pull list are really holding these shops together, because that's guaranteed, quote unquote, guaranteed, hopeful, fingers crossed, guaranteed income week after week, right?
Yeah.
But with the release dates of certain companies coming so differently, that's getting really hard to maintain for people. And then when you're dealing with shops like mine, where they don't have there's orders that have been delayed many times. You talk the same thing too with your shop. That makes it even harder, because now those people who are relying on you to get that stuff in, if they can't get it in, they may go to another shop, they may give up altogether. So it's this whole industry that's basically killing itself, is what it feels like a lot of the times, you know. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, you know, I think that's a pretty insane business model myself, but like I said, what do I know? I'm sure he's figured it out way better than I have.
My entry to Comic World is New 52.
Yeah, right.
So it is an event. It was
that's
actually
true. Yeah,
overhaul, complete
Yeah.
overhaul of DC Universe, as it was. Apparently, I wasn't aware of that. But that was my entry. Everybody started, like, when I was reading comic books before I like did the video on YouTube, and I actually started going into single comic books. But my first kind of experience in comic book shop was New 52 and all that stuff.
Right.
And I was late to it as well, because they already came out. And remember how frustrated I was, because I was starting to get into Batman, and I never was able to get #1 because it was just skyrocketing out of the, you know, like there was price tag where it wasn't comfortable, because I was just trying out stuff. But that was my go into kind of like comic book and in single format. And then the recommendations for, of course, like Sleepy Reader Damien's channel, and you know, your channel came because of Damien, because I saw you somehow kind of picture in comments, and I checked on, you know, like you used to be able to click on the person, there you go, your channel, easy peasy. Yes, not these days, but anyway. And I found your channel, and you start talking about the realm. I was like, what is there more to it? And then you start like, woof. And it's like, you know, like the big bang in my head. It's like, oh my goodness, there's so much to do. What the hell? So confusing, you know. And then I remember clearly, I went in the comic book shop. I went to my comic book guys. That was my first like proper comic book shop experience. I went into the shop and I was like, what the hell? And I closed it. I came back to it again. And he's like, oh, I've seen you before. It's like, yeah, just 5 minutes ago. And I was like, and he's like, so what can I help you? I was like, I don't have a clue. So what can you recommend?
Right.
He's like, there's the wall. See what you like and pick one. It's like, oh, is that how it goes? So I went to look at this wall. And I remember in those heydays, as they call it, the wall was covered with shit. And I was like, okay, I mean, like I was looking at X-Men, because I knew X-Men from the cartoons. That's my realm of understanding. I love X-Men anyway. And then Batman, of course. And then I like Selina Kyle. Always like Selina Kyle. I looked at that. And, you know, that's how it started. And I didn't pick up. My first comic book I've picked up, like single format. I didn't even pick up anything from him. I basically left, and I started coming back and forth. But my first, I bought back issue of Hulk because I was like, oh, what is this back issues? Let me see what they talk about Bronze Age, like you guys. And I picked up from eBay the shittiest copy I've ever bought. I was like, this is shitty. Why would people buy this? So, you know, it's just everything just absolutely went. Yes, Catwoman is absolutely fantastic when she's done right, especially the Darwin Cook version. That's Ed Brubaker. So Ed Brubaker knows how to write the Catwoman. So if you guys not aware of Catwoman, Ed Brubaker's Catwoman, you're going to be lucky to be exposed to Darwin Cook's art for 10 issues, I think, or 6 issues. The first 6 issues for sure.
Okay, yeah.
Spectacular.
Yeah, for sure.
And she's fantastic in there.
I mean, just Miss So was saying, like, my shop owner's pretty savvy with his accounting. I guess his shop is still busy. And I think that was also, because, I mean, I would say, like, in my city, we just had the one shop that closed. The other ones are doing pretty good. But I think that's more on account of the city itself, I think, and the community of comics, you know. Unit 204 Comics. They just actually got broken into the other day and a bunch of slabs stolen, but they
Sheesh.
have been really successful because he built the community. He was part of like the online and small convention community for quite a while before he opened the shop. So he has a lot of really dedicated customers that are coming in on a regular basis,
Uh-huh.
and buying not only new issues, back issues. He's rotating that back issue stock. So I think you've also got to have just some business savvy as well too. Like you've just got to understand the industry, and
Yeah.
that you need to kind of replenish those bins to keep people wanting to come back. You need to also do the new issues. You need to maybe look at doing slabbing. He does pressing services as well.
Mhm.
He used to do CGC submissions. He doesn't anymore, or at least I
Mhm.
don't think he does. He might be looking to do that again. But like offering different things to get in a group of people. And again, in a city like Winnipeg, which is smaller in comparison, dramatically
Okay.
smaller than Los Angeles, obviously we're dealing on a different scale, right? So that also comes into play for some of this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, this stuff. I think I mean, if you want to be successful, no matter in which way these days, I think since the COVID hit, I think it's even more
Hmm.
vital. It's your business savvy. I mean, how savvy are you? If you
Yeah.
are a hoarder at minimum, or you think that everybody will outprice, like you'll lose on the price tag because somebody sold something on eBay, I don't
Yep.
think the business is ever going to exist, or for how
No.
long it will be. The people who, like you say, Miss So, your shop owner has sales every day, every single time. This is how you get them. Like that is easier for you to get that person to come into the shop and say, "Oh, look, something on sale. Maybe I'll get it." But you have to get rid of the stock, because in order to buy another stock, and that's how you. And
Right.
honestly, I like hoarding. It seems to be because I do like my comic books, because I mean, I like to have it, and it's difficult for me to sell because I start making excuses in my head. So I definitely wouldn't be able to be um, probably a
Hmm.
a comic book store owner. I would love to work in one, but I don't think I would like
Yep.
to own one. I mean, I like
Yeah.
to
Right.
every single time I go to a comic book shop, or anybody who sells comic books, I go in the shop. I find like I am like it's Christmas again. You open the door,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and everything I see, I want, like,
Yeah.
really. And then and it's funny, So I said to my son, who's 6, and well, 6.5 now, and I said, and he's the same. You see his eyes, and he's like, no, 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 nothing is focused. Like you can't have anything. But
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
own head,
Glint.
like a city, like, oh, I would buy everything in
Yeah.
here.
Right.
Oh, look at that statue. Oh, maybe I could just put it in here, like that. It's just absolutely bonkers, like
Yeah.
so bad. So yeah.
I got to show
Oh
you. I got
wow.
to show you this. I've had to.
No, 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 don't show.
I've had to
No.
buy a new box
Oh,
for
come
some
on.
comics, and I figured I'd get one of these fancy graphic ones, so I got a Doctor Strange one.
Oh, that's a
I
beautiful
have
one.
so many. I have so many piles lying around. I'm like, I've just got to get another box. As much as I don't want to get another box, I had to
Yeah.
splurge and get one, right?
No, naughty, naughty. Oh,
Which
okay.
means it's time to go through the stuff and get it the fuck out of here. Some
Well,
of
there
it.
you go. You're the good one. I'm the bad. I show you a haul. Well, my haul. I managed to have something in the post because I can't pick it up.
Oh shit!
I cannot pick it up. Oh my god, this is okay. Did I tell you that before it used to be a
Damien
book?
sending you big books again?
No, this time it's my own.
Oh Jesus!
It's called
Holy shit!
Monster Size Magnolia.
Turn
And
that
it's
sideways. Oh my god. That's thicker than an omnibus, no?
it's like double. It's a double.
Holy
Oh my.
shit.
Okay, give me a second. Oh my god. How many pages?
Don't
I
drop
think
it on your
there's.
head.
Oh yeah, for sure. I heard.
1,500 pages is my guess. 1,500.
Yeah, I think so. It doesn't have, unfortunately, page. Oh no, it does. 1509.
Oh, Price is Right. I win.
So I
Wow.
always wanted. It was my. Like I don't know if I definitely did, but a long time ago I showed this library edition of Hellboy,
Yeah.
and it contains about 6 of them, and I always had difficulties to put funds towards one, but then I always said, okay, I'll look for sales, I'll buy 6 of them out, like in succession, but I never did. And when they announced, when they announced this one, or I saw it on YouTube actually, I was like,
Mhm.
cannot believe it. No, surely it's not going to be as this. So apparently, it almost contains all 6 volumes, a part of several missing storylines, which is okay.
Yep.
But I always, this is the guy who I always enjoyed reading, and
Yeah.
I always I have all this hardcover BPRDs, and I never had complete Hellboy
Mhm.
of the Hellboy universe stuff. I always wanted in library because they are beautiful. They are really nicely um done by Dark Horse. But tell you one thing, wow, Dark Horse, if you can produce such a monstrosity in
Mhm.
such a level, because believe me, it does feel solid, first of all,
Yep.
because it's bloody heavy, but each page, I mean, let me, if I don't crack my
How was it
ribs
to
while
read
I'm
is my
opening
first
this,
question.
but you can open it and it bloody lies flat.
Oh,
Are you
beautiful.
kidding
Wow.
me? Look at that eye hole.
That's
It's
amazing. That's really
that's
amazing.
spectacular. And pages, the paper they're using. Oh my god, this is a very good.
Oh,
The
wow.
pages,
Wow.
it's beautiful, and I am astounded because I honestly double guessed
Make
myself.
yourself big on the screen.
Oh yes, sorry, I do
No, that
apologize.
don't be sorry. Just
I,
let's see it a little closer.
I forgot how to do the
Yeah,
job.
yeah, it's been too long.
Yeah, so it's it's
Yeah,
very difficult task at the moment, but it's absolutely beautiful. The pages, they are a bit
amazing.
maybe thinner, but honestly the work is done beautifully. And I was so hesitant because when you decide to produce a 1500 odd page book
Mhm.
and you don't do a good job, it's such a
Mhm.
disappointment, because
Yeah.
believe me, the retail price is astoundingly big. However, I got it half price, the half price, and everything, and it's amazing. It's just absolutely
Miss So is
stunning.
saying that it needs its own altar stand like a Bible. That would be an incredible thing to build, like a Hellboy altar stand with like flames on it and stuff. That would be fucking amazing.
Don't give me ideas because I do like DIY.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah. Woodworking, yeah.
but it's honestly spectacular. I am so pleased. Um, it was a
Beautiful.
it's a something I always wanted, and now I'm going to be
Mhm.
extremely pleased that I actually own stuff like this, because now I know it's heavy. Okay, it's very
Mhm.
awkward. Having it in your hands for a period of time is long, but I'm not the person who's going to just like sit down uncomfortably and read it, because that's what I do. I sit down, I take my time. The art is beautiful. It's printed dark horse. I don't know who they use, people or DC in particularly. If you want to produce books like that, go to Dark Horse and
Yeah.
ask them who the hell the printer is, because I
Well, I think it
honestly,
probably comes down to having people associated with your company that actually give a shit about that kind of stuff.
look at this. It doesn't
Yeah,
have
it's
dust
amazing.
jacket. Thank you, Dark Horse. I don't need dust jackets.
Fuck a
It's
dust
a
jacket.
waste of paper.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. Honestly, thank you. And it's not as big as the
Wow.
library edition, but it's big. Comic book
Sure, but it's
wise,
still comic size though, right?
no, it's bigger than comic size.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's all you need.
There you go.
Yeah, beauty.
But I am so happy, so happy. This is such a monstrosity. But
Where did you buy it from? Through your shop?
no, he says to me, he even advises me, no, don't go to me because I'm gonna have to charge you quite a lot. There's this website called Speedy Hen.
Mhm.
It's the one of the best options in UK to
Mhm.
get books like that, and they do discounts. And they were It's one of the, yes, yeah. There's library editions. There's 6 of them, and
Mhm.
they are stunningly done. By the way, if you want to invest more money, kind of, this is cheaper.
Yeah.
Combining all those 6 together and combining this is cheaper. You don't get all of it though, and I know for a fact that there's missing information. And for the 6 volumes of Hellboy, you get everything, whatever he's been produced. But
Right.
honestly, I need to sell now my first volume of that library because I don't need to keep extras. This
Yeah,
is my tome and will be with me whatever until whatever I decide to do with
dude,
it. But you can
unbelievable.
definitely kill somebody with this.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Well,
like,
and it'll take you a good year to read all that too. Like that's a lot of good reading ahead of you, you know.
oh yeah, and that's the thing. I
That's
like
awesome.
taking my time with it, and it's not such a and well, look at that to treat your eyes. There you go,
Go big
Corbin.
again.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, you're asking me too much. Is it I do it? Okay, Corbin.
Oh, beautiful, dude.
Yeah, I just spotted
Fucking
the right
amazing,
cover.
man.
But there you go. It opens
Wow,
flat.
wow.
When did I? You know that Dead Man,
Good job, Dark Horse.
Dead Man omnibus I have from DC Comic Books.
Yep, yep.
Doesn't open flat like that.
Yeah, piece of shit compared. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
In comparison, sorry, I have to.
Fuck DC.
Yeah, honestly, in comparison, did nothing compares to the Dark Horse.
Hmm.
Hardcovers, Dark Horse is right at the top. I don't know. Yes, Images have spectacular IDW used to. So there's
Yeah.
the kicker. Another thing which I really love is Turtles, yeah? And they've been producing these compendiums with supposedly all the works and collected editions. And I saw the volume 2 somebody showed on YouTube. And it's shit, apparently. Paper is see-through. You kind of cannot see everything clearly. Apparently they like cheaped out on a paper stock. The cover, even the person who received that compendium, the ding was happening because the hard cover itself, the stock wasn't thick enough to get a like any kind of bang on it. So honestly, I was so when I looked at the box, I opened the box and I just like, okay, something is gonna happen. Surely it's a 1,500 pages book. Nope. I mean, there's some of it, but because I'm already manhandling it for a while. But what a treat! It's such a monster. But this is the only thing I can say to myself. Okay, a treat. You know?
Well, and it becomes a real fuck you to the customer from these other companies that listen, motherfucker, as we just finished talking about, there's not that many of us keeping your asses in business these days. You're now going to produce something that's basically a fuck you to the fans. So then you're not getting my money. You know what I mean?
No.
As far as like Dark Horse, I'll spend it at Dark Horse because at least you know that you're going to get something quality, right? That they're actually going to take some time with, you know?
Dark Horse is the only company clearly for me, which I don't buy as often as there's people who completely buys omnibuses. And Marvel doesn't do too of a bad job. As all the omnibuses are quality, honestly. You can't deny it. I don't like the dust covers, nor do I like any of dust covers because I find them they're flimsy, they break.
They're a pain in the ass.
Yeah, they kind of, sometimes you dent them.
They're in the fucking way. You got to take them off if you want to read the book.
Yeah.
You know, I end up throwing some of them out because who needs them, you know, unless it's one that like there's not nice art, you know, like the Richard Corbin one. I'm keeping the dust jacket because it's the Richard Corbin thing, right? But if it, even though it has nicely printed on there, I feel like with some books, I want to keep it like as is, right? But normally it would be like, nah, just get rid of it. I'd rather just have it printed on the book itself.
But I'm telling you, all the Dark Horse's production so far, and I thought like, okay, this is risky. This is like proper. When I heard they doing that, sure, I was like, surely I was, exactly.
Also
surely
Dark
I was,
Horse, by the way.
Yeah. Surely I was thinking that they not gonna do it, like this big, like omnibuses is already big, like, but 1,500 pages is not something
it's a doozy, man.
Yeah, exactly. And this is like. And then now I was thinking,
what's the cover price on the book itself? Not what you paid, but what's the cover price on the book?
I'll show you.
Don't get a hernia picking that thing up.
Can you? There, 149.99 and 194.99.
Yeah, right. $200 Canadian.
Yeah.
But I mean, how much you're getting in there, dude? Like that's
It's
pretty goddamn tempting, I gotta tell you.
And it has this little thing as well as a treat for
I
you.
love that. I love
Oh,
the
I
ribbon.
absolutely
Yeah.
loved it. It's red as well, which is fantastic because it's
Yeah.
Hellboy. So as I say, the people who's producing this stuff in Dark Horse, I mean, I know he has an authority, Mignola, so his work has always been treated really extremely well. But
Right.
damn, this is like a
Well,
next
because
level.
he
I
probably
mean, this is
single-handedly
based,
saved that company, right?
yeah, and this is basically tells everybody else who producing hardcovers, look to what actually hardcover has to look like. Nothing
Hmm.
else like that. Nothing too over the top. Just take care of what you're producing and actually know what you're actually producing. And they did justice. And I said to you, there's no numbers. There's numbers on the pages, which is absolutely goddamn important when you're reading 1500s.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, if you don't have that, I mean, you definitely get confused. What
Yeah.
the
Right.
hell? What that information is all about? And they also
Yeah. Yeah.
have. I wonder if they have covers. I don't think. I don't. I wasn't looking at extras. I don't think there is an extra, because it's 1500 pages. Uh, and there's not, which I completely understand that. But yeah, and it's like, I mean, I can't even lift anymore because I'm tired. But it's still beautiful to look at.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Yeah. Amazing.
yes,
Hello, Rick Ray.
yeah, yeah, yes, but I don't have none of them. I always wanted Colossal Conan, because this Damien's ear. I keep on hearing how excited he was, and I like Conan generally because I like Conan's the earlier stuff. I think that Frank, what is it? Frank Thorne, isn't it? Is the
Yeah.
main
Frank Thorne.
artist?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's fantastic in it. Yeah, but absolutely stunner, and I'm so glad by now my BPRD is gonna have a lovely friend next to them,
Hmm.
and this is just exactly what my world of Dark Horse needed to have. Well,
I
I'm
keep
happy. Yeah,
finding cheap volumes of BPRD, but
yeah,
I never see volume one because it's Guy Davis art in there, and I kind of want to start reading it, but I
yeah.
have yet to find number one. I see number two and number three
Well,
and number seven, but I never find number one. I think that's going to be the next mission.
in hardcovers, you talking about? Because
I know
hardcovers are
I'm just looking for discounted stuff. So it's been
yeah.
soft covers mostly that I've seen. I
Uh,
can't really afford hardcover some of the new stuff because it is
oh
a
no,
bit expensive, you know.
yeah. No, 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 those BPRD, unfortunately, they haven't reprinted, and they are crazy price
Mm,
at the moment.
hmm.
It's the same like the Goons Volume 3. Always
Hmm.
Volume 3. It's kind of interesting. So Volume 3 of BPRD is like about £600 in UK
Oh,
eBay asking price,
Jesus.
which is absolute mind it explodes, and it says like, you
Yep.
crazy. Volume 3 of the Goon, of the library editions, the green ones
Hmm.
I'm talking about, that one is completely out. Like, it's not impossible to find it. Funny enough, Volume 3 of Harrow County
Hmm.
library edition hardcovers from Dark Horse also. So
Weird.
what's the number 3 is all
Why
about?
volume three? Yeah, that's weird,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yes. Oh yeah, it's exactly Plague of Frogs.
Yeah,
But
Plague of
you
the Frogs.
was
That's what I've seen a
more.
couple of volumes of. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did an omnibus. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. They
Yeah, I
do
mean
in
that'll be
soft
the next thing
covers.
because I'm really in a Guy Davis mood and I want to read that stuff. I've seen bits and pieces, but I've always also heard Plague of Frogs is just a fantastic, probably from you, Rasa, as well as
Yeah,
other
yeah,
people,
yeah,
but
yeah, 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 yeah.
Plague of Frogs is just unreal. So yeah.
And it works. The Plague of Frogs so like goes through the storyline, and it's even furthermore. It's like really good. And
Hmm.
yeah, it's just this world so worth to get into. This is the right way to do it as well, because
Yeah.
it's so difficult to get into the whole chunk of it. That's why I always wanted the library editions of Hellboy, but that's six. I think it is 6 numbers, because there's the latest one they produced was the Hellboy in Hell, the
Mm,
version which is I think is the one with the most popular versions
hmm.
of those library editions, because the storyline is fantastic and it was quite rare.
Hmm.
I think I had it in single. I think I had it in single format and I sold it, and I made a bit of a profit, because the Hellboy stuff as well is kind of a good seller point if you want to sell the single format comic books.
Hmm.
It seems to be Hellboy, so it's another popular thing to sell in single format. But
Right.
I don't know. I'm just like, I'm so happy. It's like, ding. It's like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was flipping the pages. I was like, oh, like that's where my mood started to get back,
Yeah.
kind of, like change my perspective into whatever
Right. Right.
happening around me, and kind of shush the world in it, because this is just like you turn the page and you're like, so beautiful, and you're like, oh, so
Since
scary. And
you used a discount UK, did they offer you free shipping too, or did that
yeah,
cost you?
yeah, free
Fuck,
shipping.
amazing. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
That's really great.
it's a family based shop. I bought just whatever collected editions. I was always look at their page. We don't stock that much, so you have to luck out.
Hmm.
They kind of more popular now maybe, but they sell all sorts of books. So it's almost like your typical bookstore, online bookstore.
Hmm.
But they graphical novels wise, I bought from them many times because
Hmm.
of they were producing the best prices before, but you have to make it, as I say. If you miss it, you're gonna cry,
Yeah, it's
because
gone.
then
Yeah,
you
right.
see other retailers online, and they triple the price, almost the
Yeah,
same.
yeah, yeah.
So on Amazon, this beauty goes for £129,
Mm.
so still more.
It's like
But
250 Canadian-ish. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so it's quite a lot. But Amazon, I don't even go Amazon anymore. It's kind of irks me every time I
Hmm.
look at it. But I go to, there's Waterstones, very huge retailer in UK, and there's another one, black, I forgot the name anyway, but it's several now. There is WH Smith used to be such a popular UK
Mm.
shop,
Hmm.
but now they overpriced. So they increased it. So it's like goes to $149.99. They probably would sell it for £159.99
Uh,
re because they just like extra, because they're crazy,
crazy.
and they complain afterwards. You hear, and it's all they're struggling to leave the shops open. Well, yeah, because
Yeah, well,
your
because your
business
shit's
is
expensive. Yeah,
yeah, because your business ideas are not really
that's
apart
right.
for people what you want to buy. It's like, oh, you only
Got your
go
head
buy
up your
stuff,
ass. Yeah.
yeah, on sales and stuff like that. But absolutely fantastic stuff you can find.
Mm.
But that this website, Speedy Hen, they don't. I don't know if they do. I doubt. I never seen them saying that they ship worldwide. But
Hmm.
UK, they definitely ship it for free.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this is one of the best places to go into if you wanted to discount your graphic novel collected editions. Like
Book Depository was my jam from the UK, but they don't
it's a
exist
pity.
anymore,
It's a
unfortunately.
pity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not something yeah, it's not something you I heard. I was by luck, was about maybe 6 years ago, I
Hmm.
think. By luck, I typed, like start looking for collected editions. You type in your Googles and you check. And I start scrolling, and for some reason, I see that name, Speedy Hen. It's like, okay, funny. So I
Hmm.
pressed on it, and there's Speedy Hen, basically, literally, the banner of a chicken running towards something.
Right.
And I was like, okay, that's weird. And then I've always, like you always check if they have graphic novel section.
Hmm.
Guess what? They do have it. Press on that, and there's like boom, volume of stuff. And really, so I started
Yeah.
buying
Cool.
from them. So I started buying from. I had many stuff getting from them on discounts, because it's way more worth it if you, of course, luck out. They have the stock, and then you get your discount. Otherwise, you just like try your luck somewhere else, or you go on sales like normal people
Hmm.
do,
Yeah.
like
Right.
the Black Fridays. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Black Hole
Yeah. There you
Speedy
go.
Hen books.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Forbidden Planet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hello,
Yeah.
off my
So
shelf. Welcome.
yeah, the
Nice to see you.
Blackwell. So that's the one I was for. Yeah, books etc.
Hmm.
is kind of weird. They are really good
Forbidden
at.
Planet. That's an infamous shop, isn't it? Forbidden Planet. That's
Yeah. But you can buy it online as well. They
yeah,
usually
right.
have. They charge though.
Yeah.
They charge for delivery for the Forbidden Planet. Many other ones, maybe Black Walls, I think doesn't. Speedy Hen does definitely don't. The books etc. Traveler Man, I'm not sure because they're quite far away. Books Please are quite cool.
Hmm.
So there's several now, more options than there used to be. But
Yeah,
sometimes,
right.
good evening to you, Sue, Paulo.
Hello, Paulo Costa.
But yeah, there's several. But I've used Speedy Hen so most often after them all, because services are great.
And that's the
Um,
tricky thing with like the free shipping places, right? Like as
yeah,
much as obviously that's a big savings and you want to
yeah,
gravitate to it, it does
yeah.
really make it difficult for smaller shops to kind of compete with that when you're able to offer. Because I mean, that's cutting into their profits. So they're discounting a book and they're
No.
shipping it for free. Like it really is cutting
Mm.
into the longevity of these kind of shops, right? So it does become
Yeah.
tricky.
Well, this the thing is, my comic book guy always says that he does have collected editions, but he even to me because I've been a long-term customer of his, and he says
Yeah.
I you can get it from me, but you won't get discount if as whatever you're expecting to have from others. And then
Hmm.
sometimes when I can't find some things, I always go to him, but
Hmm.
he's not my number one choice. I only go for I always support him. My priority from his shop is single issues because I know that's where the money is for
Yeah.
him. So
Yeah.
I only buy that stuff from him because I know I'm supporting this way, and that's where he basically has the money from that side. Yeah. Oh, okay. So Forbidden Planet is pre-order saved. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
looking recently, not Gore Vidal, sorry. Earl Grey had a video on this comic called Sunday,
Hmm.
and it's offered originally from this place Colorama, and
Hmm.
then here in North America, so specifically in the United States, Domino Books was carrying it as well too. They
Yeah.
got some copies in, and I was
Yeah.
just for the heck of it because it looked really interesting. I went to look at the Colorama website, based
Uh,
out of Berlin, to
uh,
get a book from me from Berlin
uh.
versus the United States. The United States cost me $12 American more than if I were to buy it straight from Berlin. Like, shit is fucking bonkers. And
What?
then just in addition to that story, I went to what's his name? The fucking Jim Rugg. Jim Rugg.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
had a sale on his website, and he had his 1986 zine, and I wanted
Mhm.
to pick up that, and I went to his website.
Yeah.
First of all, it was $20 US for the book itself, which is
Yes.
mental. When I put it in the cart, all I ordered was that one. It was going to cost me $35 US to ship the one book to me. So $55 US to get it across the fucking border from the United States. I obviously deleted I obviously didn't buy it, but it's like when it becomes that kind of expensive to ship from the United States, it
Mhm.
really is going to stop people from wanting to support. And again, I know that the retailers don't have control over the shipping. I totally get that. In Jim Rugg's case, I would say that it's lazy on his part. He didn't look into it because there's no fucking way it's going to cost $35 US to ship one book. Like there's just no way, even if it was like a thin hardcover. But like the Berlin one kind of blew my mind that it was $12 American cheaper to get it to me in Canada from Berlin than it was across the goddamn border.
Well, look at this.
Yeah,
I had the book from
that's
Canada.
madness off my shelves. That's madness.
Uh,
They are
yeah.
just getting fucked. I'm sorry, our American viewers and fans and friends, but like you are getting fucked in so many ways. I should also say that anything I say from this point is empowered by sake. So I finished the bottle. So just fair
Oof.
warning.
Gee whiz. Are you still standing, man? I would be like
It was
already
only
sink.
half a bottle. It was only half a bottle, but just to put put a little bit of an asterisk around anything I say from this point on. It's now fueled by sake.
There's no filter here, right?
Yeah, right.
Jeez, if I had half of that bottle, I would be already
I would also agree
singing.
with Rick Ray. I'm hoping that there's a collection from
Yeah.
Fantagraphics from Sunday. I've just been
Mhm.
hearing really, really good things about it, and
Mhm.
from seeing pages and stuff, it does look pretty intriguing. There were risographed originally from this Colorama, and
Uh-huh.
I've heard a lot of good things from a number of people about that book, so I'm curious to
So
check it
is
out.
the book called Sunday?
It's called Sunday, yeah.
And to the guy who is
Shrowen. I'm
Chauvin.
not sure the first name there, yeah, but Rick Ray mentions his name there.
Chauvin. Okay, I need to check it out because it's interesting.
But
You're talking.
Colorama itself looked like a pretty good website. Like it looked like a pretty good publisher. There was a lot of intriguing looking stuff on there. I think they focus mainly on risograph stuff because obviously that's the thing these days with them
Okay.
artists doing stuff risographed.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I love risograph. I think it's
Yeah, so do
fantastic.
I agree.
But did you ever even looked how much the actual printer costs?
Yeah, expensive because I was actually looking at it one time, this was years ago, what would it
Yeah,
cost to actually get one and maybe
yeah,
buy one with some friends and look to produce stuff, and it's goddamn expensive. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, it's already saying Sunday. Okay, cool. The minute you type in his name, the Sunday pops in. By the way,
Yeah.
people. Cool. Oh, 15 euros.
Yeah, it was pretty reasonable, and again, like I was tempted. I can't afford it right now. I do this often. I just build carts on various websites just to see. Oh, did you lose? Oh, there you are.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the one. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the picture, people, for you
Yeah.
to see. Is there more pictures? Oh, there you go. There's even oh, this. Oh, come on. No, 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 no. Go back. What are you doing? Sorry. Just wanted to show you the page. There's the
You probably have to
come on.
come real close. Yeah,
You can't.
that's
It's
getting there.
there's too much lights. It's going on
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
But it's very nice. It looks
Yeah.
fantastic. Definitely lends itself. Color scheme is pink, blue, and grayish. Isn't it? Looks like. Oh wow.
Yeah, and Domino sold out almost immediately when they brought them in.
Uh-huh.
And Domino is a good site for that kind of stuff. It's just for me in Canada, I've got to put in right off the bat. I got to pick $20 shipping automatically, and then it goes up very small amounts for every kind of few books that I put on after that. So their shipping isn't, again, and it's not a slam against the individual companies. They're
Hmm.
working within their parameters, what they have to kind of make sure that they kind of maintain their existence, right? But it does get really, really difficult when you're looking
So
at those kind of
there is
prices.
7 issues of it,
Yep.
and there's
I mean, it seems
fragile as
ideal
well.
for a Fantagraphics collection, I would say.
Yeah, with 7 issues. So it sells
Hmm.
number one, number two as a single format, then number
Hmm.
3 and 4 is together, and then number 5, 6, and 7, and 10, because X is Roman X, so it's 10. Yes,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
in what in another format, so it's 10 maybe issues because it's just
yeah.
as X
Or maybe
and
X for extra or something like
or
that. Or
X
yeah,
maybe. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, cool. I'm gonna have a look at that website.
yeah. And have a look at Earl Grey's channel too. He kind of flips through them and mentions them. So it was just
Oh,
recently, last week, I think maybe, that he put up a
yeah.
video not too long ago.
That's the thing. I've been MIA from YouTube
Yeah,
in
of course.
generally because of
Yeah,
situations, but
yeah.
I'm getting into it because there's lots of things there's quite interesting to watch, and I was trying to watch your video. I
Mm.
remember, unless I remember that we didn't do chat, and somehow I got really sensitive. I was like, I'm not watching your video, so I switched it off. That kind of mood. I was in
Yeah,
that
right.
mood. Oh, there you go. X
There
is
you
an
go.
epilogue issue, so there's 8 parts to Sunday. Oh, okay, very well. Thank you very much. So, how did you get Rick Race? Did you actually ship it to? Is Rick Ray in America?
I believe Rick Ray's in the States. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty
So,
damn sure.
so I wonder how did you get hold of that? So, anyway, so yeah, shipping is crazy in generally. I think these days is absolutely not, America is unreachable. I don't even look anymore
Yeah.
because every single time I look, like, no, because eBay is naturally shows you all eBay, like Europe and America, of course, or whatever across the pond, and every single
Hmm.
time I look at the price tag, like minimal $30 to ship anything. So no
Hmm.
matter whatever I do, it's always $30 on top of it. It's like, it's. mm,
The and honestly, the Jim Rugg one ended up actually making me angry
I
because at the end of the
bet.
day, the 1986 zine, it's a collection of
Oh,
stuff from other comics into a zine about the year 1986 in comics. So it's
uh,
not that, yes, of course he did some work to put it all together and everything, but at the end of the day, it's also this idea of like you're cashing in on someone else's work. You're just compiling it into an easy to read format, like
oh
any
wow.
sort of history. And trust me, it's not a slam on Jim as much as it might sound like, again, fueled by alcohol, but it's this idea of,
Mhm.
so now you're charging $20 for the book, which is insane. But I guess
Mm.
with their popularity, they can kind of charge what they want. They've got a big fan base now. And then the shipping on top of it, it's like, dude, that's a big kind of investment into something that is ultimately just a collection of stuff from comics, magazines, advertisements, images, art, that sort of thing. I'm sure it's a fantastic zine, but it really just, it ended up really kind of making me angry of like, fuck ordering from the States anymore. I've got to find some other resources. You know, I've got to find some other Canadian people or something else that's
Yeah.
more reasonable. But it ain't easy to find is the other thing. So once you kind of corner a market, you can kind of charge whatever the hell you want because you've got that market that other people don't have, right? So I'm desperate for more Canadians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so after a beautiful 1 hour of conversation,
See you later.
you keep on saying, I want to talk about, I read this. So issue 2 came out.
Yeah, please do. I'll be
Okay.
right back.
Okay, go on. You have to go, Lou.
No,
Deposit
not Lou. I need
something.
to go get another drink.
Oh, he's thirsty. Anyway, so Transformers number 2 came out, which is image based, by the way, Skybound actually. This is the, I think, Skybound banner now, but it's Image comic books, and Daniel Warren Johnson's and Mike Spicer work of art, and it's still, to my surprise, I am really into this. It's very gentle storytelling so far. It's actually kind of gets into it's really an introduction to Transformers realm, if you're not aware of it. I'm aware of the world, sort of, information-wise, from the movies, once again. I've not dwelled into comic books, which I would have loved to own, because I really like that era of comic books from the 80s. But Daniel Warren Johnson is doing a really good job. He's a full-blown fan. In the issue number 1, you guys can find out his exposure to Transformers and why he's doing this, and got his opportunity, since he's been doing quite a few things now, and he's a star now in the comic realm. And don't forget Russ Watson as well as a creator, because he's a lecturer of that. And it's the story continues, like seeing the kids find them in that cave. They are realizing, waking up, and everything is getting. I'm nothing about spoilers, but yes, he's fantastic, and he's introducing this world really well to you, especially if you're not part, or you don't know this universe from the comic books, or you only seen the movies, whichever you chose to watch. And I'm going into this with very fresh eyes, and he's packed in pages of information is stunning. He has every skill possible to create a world of transformation. Seems to be, and it's such a difficult thing to do. And I show you the panel, which I absolutely love. One of my favorite things of Daniel Warren Johnson is the action scenes he's able to portray on a piece of paper, which makes me really intrigued by it. I hope you get a chance to read some of the original. Oh yeah, I would love to. I'm keep on looking to see if I can get hold some of it. I found one online shop, definitely, because there's no comic book shop around me. It's kind of lucky in a way, but as you guys can see, I do like my comic books, but I'm trying to have a pull list, like a gentle stuff. So back issues is not something I go for these days at the moment. So yeah, scenes are spectacular. There's this flight attack, and how a bad guy's name. So how you call them? Not Autobots, but Decepticons. There you go, Decepticons.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how he transforms in the scene while he was a plane beforehand, and shocks the pilots, and he just transforms like. And then he has this scene slap, because he's basically slapping the plane down, which is fantastic, and I think really lends itself to it. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I definitely can do that. So yeah, really good action scenes, full informations, kind of like crazy the way. Oh yeah, Optimus Prime transforming into a truck, which is fantastic, and doesn't actually do the full thing, but it's there. He's doing it, so it's very nice to see. And Decepticons, how they treat the humans is actually quite interesting. So the pilot jumps because he crashed the plane, and he says to the pilot hello, and he slaps him to death. It's like slap, it's like splash. There is nothing. He's basically killed the human. Um, oh, what is he talking about? Canada now.
Yeah, Drawn and Quarterly.
Yeah.
We do have Drawn and Quarterly. Yeah, and absolutely, there's some really good stuff for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so this Transformers book is extremely entertaining, and I don't know if I'm still want to go forward, but so far I read everything, 2 issues, and I really like it, and I really like the way Daniel Warren Johnson gets you to read something you don't really not that I don't care, but in the like it's not something number one choice of me of comic book to read. So yeah, very good, and I'm enjoying it. And apparently, lots of people did love the issue number one, and it's very popular. So I
Yeah, it was
guess
hugely
this
popular. Yeah.
yeah, so this universe is gonna go further more because they are doing GI Joes, and they introduced one of GI Joes in this comic book as well. His name is Duke. So one of the pilots. Oh, you wow, she grew.
Yeah,
What
I know, she's
happened?
bigger already.
Oh my
Yeah, it's
goodness,
crazy.
the
She was
cat.
meowing outside the door, so I thought I'd let her in.
Yeah.
So,
Why
hello.
went to holy shit that clip? Anyway, so yeah, so I liked it. So far this is very entertaining. I don't know if I think Dallin Warren Johnson is what's keeping me thoroughly entertained. His writing is really cool. Everything feels like it has a sense of the Transformers, whatever the sense of Transformers I know. It appeals to
Mhm.
me at the moment. So while it is, I guess I'm gonna continue to see if at that moment I decide to pick it up, I will pick it up. But
Yeah, right.
not disappointed. That which is absolutely fantastic. This is what I like sometimes you fear when you go into that kind of thing. Because I'd rather, as I say, I would go in those older version Transformers and because I really like the art style and the
Mhm.
coloring and the feel of the book and all that stuff. But yeah, Daniel Warren Johnson so far is doing, and that's how we're gonna, I guess, doing revival of the GI Joes and Transformers universes. So
Yeah, he's a hell of an artist, man, and he seems to have like his finger in that
uh-huh.
kind of pulse of that kind of era, you know. So
Yeah. Also, the Duke series of GI Joe, which starts. Joshua Williamson and Tom Riley and Jordi Belair is going to be creative
mm,
team for people who wants to know that information.
excuse me.
So Joshua Williamson. She's gonna go, what is in there? So Joshua Williamson is very good as well as a creator, I think.
Mhm.
But yeah, Transformers so far, great. Well done to them.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Do you have something to share apart from
Sure.
meow?
Yeah, the meowing in the background.
Yeah.
This I picked up last
Oh,
weekend
nice.
um, at the flea market, Thirsty's flea market from Dan at Mad Cat Comics. He recently bought a small collection of underground comics.
Lovely.
And he was kind of telling me about some of them, and I looked through the box. He had them listed at $5 a piece. I got 4 books that I didn't already have.
Mm-hmm.
This one is phenomenal. It's a hell of a style. So I started looking into this creator, McMillan.
Mm-hmm.
Michael McMillan is his name. So I started looking into him. I guess he appears. Dan Nadell did a book called Art in Time. Lost comics from the 40s to the 80s or whatever it was, something along those lines. Apparently had him in there. He also in 2012 put together a show of Macmillan's artwork. So this guy, he created this comic. It's 1971.
Mm-hmm.
He was 37 years old. This was the first comic that he did. He ended up
Oh.
working a little bit in some undergrounds, and it's
Uh-huh.
all a collection of short strips in this one. But he was influenced by, in Chicago from 1966 to 1961, was this group that called themselves the Harry Who, Hairy. There were
Mm-hmm.
6 people, four men, 2 women, and they were
Uh-huh.
part of like an art movement that's called, like, I think it was called the Imagists, I think. So
Mm-hmm.
he had seen their work, and he had seen Zap Comics issue number 1 and was kind of like, well, Jesus, I should do some comics. I think he studied like architecture. I think he was a kind of a painter. I think he
Oh
worked in
wow.
some films as well too. So he decided to do some comics work. There's not much comics out there. He appeared in some anthologies, but this was his first kind of, at first, and I think maybe only solo comic. It's amazing. The art is outstanding, and especially when you see the work of the Harry Who from the 60s, you can see a lot of that influence. I love this image here of this kind of preacher kind of waving his arms and almost like floating. And some of the perspectives and things are a lot of fun. Like that's such a great panel there, you know, looking from low towards the looking up at this character. The stories themselves are kind of silly and a little bit kind of surreal and nonsensical, but it's really the art that I'm here for. And the art is really, it was such a pleasure to read this. This was probably kind of the highlight from my week of reading books.
Cool.
I've looked online to see more of his art and kind of see what else he's appeared in. Comics Joint, as usual, the good resource for underground comics, COMIX. They have a in the kind of listing for this book, they give you a good kind of history of him and also talk about a couple of the other things that he was involved in. Yeah, it's really nice, Miss. So it's this kind of simple line, but it really is steeped in, you know, that sort of 60s era. Again, it's hard to get away from kind of the Beatles Yellow Submarine-ish.
Yes.
There's that kind of
I wanted to
quality
see that.
style of art, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
But
quickly
really,
screams it. Yeah.
yeah, really, really amazing stuff. And again, it's just this, I love the maximalist. I love kind of the heavily detailed stuff, but there's something to be said about more of this illustrative kind of style. Morning hygiene, mid-morning hygiene is this story as he's picking his nose there, but there's something to be said about this style and how you can kind of tell a silly little story.
What the hell is this in his nostrils, man?
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
There's a couple of booger ones in here. There's a lot of, you know, there's a few times where people are emitting things from their body. But honestly, the character design is so incredible. And the Kayfabe guys did a really good video talking about the Harry Who. So if you search up Harry Who, again, Hairy, you'll come across their video. It's like a 20-minute video where they're going through a book that Jim found. And it's so fucking cool. The art is so amazing. And again, it's also the appeal of some of this art sometimes is there's this real kind of direct conversation you can have with the viewer because viewers themselves can see it and go, I think I could draw like that. I think I could do that. So that kind of draws me in as kind of a reader, where you feel like a little more in tune with it because it feels like something you could have created, even though in reality, I didn't fucking create it, nor have I even tried. But it's that sort of direct communication that you can have with your audience.
So this is just one guy doing
just
this.
One guy. Yep, that's
but
correct.
His art style changes. Like it's
didn't
crazy.
Have a career in comics. Like didn't pursue comics in a big way. Went off and did other things, fine art and stuff. You know, so yeah, it's Rick Ray. You know the name. That's great. It's beautiful. It was a hell of a find. And again, it's as I was talking to Dan about the comics that he had, I was like, oh, I got that one. And he's like, well, it sounds like you got most of them. I'm like, yeah, but the thing is, you're just telling me the big names. I'm sure with a collection like this, if the guy was really into this stuff, there's going to be some stuff that I've never heard of, which is the exciting part of finding like a collection from some guy who focused on underground comics and independent comics. You just know that there's going to be some stuff in there that he picked up on a whim, more so than someone who is just dabbling, who was more into mainstream and got like Slow Death and Skull and Zap. They're not digging deep into the underground. So this was a hell of a find. Beautiful, beautiful book. I would also love to see more color work by him too, because even that stuff is very much appealing. So
what printing is yours?
Very, very cool book.
What printing is yours?
Sorry, say that again.
Which printing it is? You know, they have multiple printings.
Comics Joint only has one printing listed. They say it on Comics Joint. They say it's never been reprinted. I did look it up on eBay, and it was
Yeah.
going for a boatload of fucking money.
Yeah,
Um,
that was what I'm looking
I
at. It's
don't
like
know if that's realistic prices though, but yeah, it was going for like over 100, almost into the $200 territory when I looked it up on ebay.ca.
Yeah, me too. I'm just looking at, and it says American. In America, they sell the USA 138 pounds or
Yep.
156 pounds.
Yeah, right.
It's like what?
Yeah, which again, like that's crazy because I don't know if
No, it's
$5 is what I
crazy.
paid, and $5 to me is what it's worth. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and it's not leaving the collection. This is staying with me for sure. So,
No, it's just like you showing it. That art style is fantastic. Like you say, from the beginning, it was like you say the yellow submarine. I couldn't just shake it off, and I was like, I didn't
yep.
say anything. And I wanted, and then further down, you see the art, and then black and that darker scenes you showed. It just
Yes.
looks so much more different. Again, what if it's the same dude you're talking about? It's just it would be nice to, when you show it's great to see it from that, but when you actually see an actual comic book, it's different. Like whatever you experience it. So. It's a pity if
totally.
it's just only one, like two of them available, and then that's the price tag they want. It's kind of crazy.
And I mean, just the smaller format and the fact that he was like 37 years old when he did his first comic, it really shows like he had different intentions coming into this than someone who was like really involved in comics and that sort of thing. It really makes me want to explore the Harry Who a lot more, but getting your hands on some of those, even collected books of their work, is really expensive when I was looking for them. So it's not going to be easy, but online, thankfully.
Still talking about Transformers. I want to go to my library has Extremity, so I'm definitely gonna go read it because there's another Daniel Warren Johnson book I want to experience. But yes, him and Mike Spicer work collaboration is really works because it just lends itself to like when you have a good creative team, it shows on the page. It enhances the artists and also it enhances the book in generally. But they even
totally.
re-releasing. Oh, that's good. That means it's popular because he's saying he's re-releasing in hardcover soon, which is lovely because it's I definitely saw, I think, in the library in my area they do have them. Not many of these things. Daniel Warren Johnson definitely don't have the Wonder Woman one. Still waiting for that patiently. I'm waiting. I've been waiting for like 3 weeks now for Ed Brubaker's new book. They really Nightshade. Isn't Nightshade?
Yes, that, right. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something. So I'm waiting for that one to somehow whatever comes into for me to be able to pick it up. But yeah, I'm looking for that because Ed Brubaker, he's tough now. With Sean Phillips, he's tough.
Yeah.
He's not always clicking anymore when it comes into that format. They decided to start publishing stuff. This is fantastic.
That's what I want. That's what I want from Ed Brubaker. I want Friday. I want it on a regular basis. I want it monthly because this is so good. Like the Reckless stuff, we've talked about it to death. I sold my books. I wasn't a fan. I didn't keep them. I want a million more of these because this is such an enjoyable read so far. 2 books in.
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost Ed Brubaker has always been such a strong. This is Friday is exactly what Ed Brubaker is all about for me. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and as much as I love Sean Phillips, I feel like they need some time apart. They need to, have an amicable separation, visitation rights with the kids, all of that stuff. But like, just kind of go and do some other stuff for a little while because the Reckless just wasn't working for me. And I think since I've sold those off, I think there's been 2 more volumes of it kind of thing. I haven't really heard people talking about it in a big way. People have mentioned it, but it doesn't feel like it's a Brubaker Phillips pairing that people are like raving about, where it's really out there in the world. I
don't know. It just doesn't work that format. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm just speculating because it doesn't.
Honestly, I think I don't have a problem with the format. I think the format is fantastic. Those hardcovers I think are great. I'm just looking at some of them down here, but like I just found I feel just the character isn't interesting. The stories just really didn't grab me, even though, again, I'm a big fan of all that stuff that they're talking about in those books. But yeah. Oh, Night Fever was the worst. Oh, wow.
Well, thankfully, my library will be just that.
Yeah, wow, wow. Well, that's a hell of a thing.
Oh,
Where the body
wow.
was. Okay.
Oh, I managed to snag an early copy and it's loads of fun and refreshing.
Hmm.
Whoa. Okay.
Well, that's a
Interesting.
positive thing.
Well, Night Fever. Okay. Worst he's read. Now I'm curious to see how bad it is
Yeah, right.
in my books, especially
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I can get it library wise. Now I'm really intrigued. Come on, library, pick up your pace, or
yeah,
ask
yeah.
somebody to bring that book. No, because people can. It takes two. You can have 2 weeks, and you can renew it for another 2 weeks. So it's a month. So
Mm-hmm.
never know when it's gonna come. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's still, if it's gonna come out, I'll say, oh, it's a surprise.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah. Whew. Ed Brubaker, I like that Friday. Oh, was marketed.
Ah, okay.
But it's
Has
basically
quite shut
still time
elements in
to.
it.
Oh, okay, interesting. I don't know how I take that, but yeah, Ed Brubaker is a strength. Hmm.
Yeah.
I finally caught up, so I'm
Yeah, sweet.
fully waiting for the new storyline. This is the one-off. It's a bit disappointed. I don't know if you're aware, if you read extras, that he
I
is
have, yeah.
chickened out, Mr. Wes
Fucking
Cragen.
coward. Fuck you, Wes Craig. You're a fucking coward. How long did that like we talked about it when we
It's
talked
12.
about that other one off that he's probably
12
going to
issues.
cop out and add it,
Yeah,
and then he did. Bullshit, man. I love the book still, but
yeah.
fuck that. He copped out right away.
Well,
Coward.
it took him 12 issues. That's a year.
Still,
So
he copped
still,
out right away because as soon as that 6 came out, he was
yeah,
talking and promoting that it's going to be an
yeah.
only floppy, and then now he's not.
I don't know if his publishers, whatever he's publishing with Image comic books, is telling him that's a stupid thing to do because you're gonna
But
anger
I
some
think
sort of thing.
But
But
I
I don't
think,
know.
like we talked about with that first one shot, I don't
Yeah,
see how you could not include that because that has some crucial
yeah,
storytelling elements in it.
exactly.
Really helps you turn a corner with the characters. So
Yeah,
I never thought it was realistic to
yeah.
exclude that stuff. It's just I was interested because he claimed that he was going to keep that stuff out. Yeah, again,
Yes.
alcohol fueled Miss So.
Yeah. But this is this end of the storyline was really cool. A bit misleading, the cover, but hey, it's fine. But his art is, I don't know
Beautiful.
how about you, but this is like the action scene, and apparently he's saying that he's been gonna be rewarded as the best cartoonist of the year, I think, or animator. I don't know the reward
Oh,
systems, but he's gonna get several awards, which is good for for his work because of his comic
mhm.
book. He's gonna get exposed a bit more. The scenes where Jin is finally finding out his supposed powers
Yeah,
because he's the
yeah.
golden one. Fantastically done. I
So good.
love the panel scenes and whatever is happening to him. In generally, this storyline is very rewarding when it comes to investment time. For example, because I have just left it behind, I was like, and thanks to you, I picked that up, and it's flowing really well in single format. And I think it will will, if it's connected, you're gonna breeze through those issues in no end, and you will basically wait
Hmm.
for another one. I really like the complexity, and I think it's gonna be it seems to be the next one, because in this one it tells you in the extra material where our character is going to be ending up to, and what the new character is going to be introduced to us. And it will be a different dynamic once again, because of he's kind of have magics, and finally at 8-year old, is he 8 or 6 year old? I don't remember the name of
I
the number
don't
of his
remember.
age, but he's eight, from 6 to 8 years old, Jin, who is basically realizing the magic isn't as a flip of a finger. And here
Hmm.
we're finding out an extra. This is the House a standalone issue, where he basically give you extra material, how our bad guys basically came to see his mother, and he basically first appearance comic, by the way,
Experience.
people, first appearance.
Slap
You
it.
have Salved, my child. So this is the queen of the robots, and this is her first appearance. So, oh my God, speculators, come on, first appearance. You have to take that off your shelves, and we become rich. Anyway, so but it's extra materials you get, and it's really nice the way he's portraying her. He's using watercolors in here, and those blacks
Yeah.
are just standing out. Really like his servant robot who's basically trying to clean. And I like the
Mhm.
cliffhanger with him because he got that drink, and I was like, the minute he drank, it's like, uh-oh, a bit
Yeah, yeah.
predictable, but because reading the comic book, you understand what's happening. And then he invites, so this is the material I'm talking about. He gives you an extra information in this one, and also introduces an artist he asked to work for him for a couple of pages, and he had Gabriel Walter. And as you know, if you're well aware of Gabriel Walter, you will get his type of style, and he looks very similar, to be honest. I was surprised how kind of like I was thinking going to be more of Walter in this couple of pages, but you can
Mhm.
definitely recognize all the characters really well. And I really like the monkeys in charge of this guy, and it was like fantastic to look at. But it's Gabriel Walter, so of course you get somebody to you've never. Oh, Mr. Never heard of Okaya. Where have you been sleeping? And Kaya is an adventure world where you need to explore a realm of unknown adventure. There you go. Wes Craig. So
Honestly, like even
yeah,
look at issue number 1 and
yeah,
then hold open issue number 11 beside each
yeah,
other. His art and coloring and everything has really grown just in that much.
yeah,
He was always a fantastic artist,
yeah.
but it's
Deadly Class.
really, it's unbelievable. And then you go from issue number 11 to
Mhm.
that more stripped down issue number 12. It's beautiful. The guy is an incredible artist. It's a really fun little world. It's not
Yeah.
super deep. I would
No.
say that it's probably like a YA kind of book,
Yes, very much
storytelling,
so.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
it's so goddamn entertaining. Like I legitimately really enjoy every single issue. It's a real pleasure to read,
And
man.
as we keep on saying, that issue 6 is vital for you to
Issue 6 is
thoroughly.
unbelievably vital. Yeah.
Yeah. So number 1 issue is great because you find out the world, but number 6 issue enhances the world, like to a point where
Totally.
you start investing in it because the way he introduced the heartfelt part of Kaya's work and why we're following her and her brother, you
Mhm.
understand the whole purpose for them to be surviving this world where their world doesn't exist anymore. They don't have
Yeah.
any parents, nobody else to help them. There's just two of them, but they have a goal to go somewhere where they hope as well that something will be of for them to survive in. So that's the part, and it's really good. What's the story? That's where we say the story is for them to
You can look it up online there, Gun. You can find a
two
synopsis.
siblings traveling from one world to another one, or to achieve to an island where they believe the answers will be there for them to find. And it's basically the journey from one point to another one. To it's like an adventure, like almost like a Indiana Jones, not with a treasure, but like there's a point where there's a start of a storyline, and they're going towards an achievable, hopefully, goal for them
Mhm.
to. So yeah, very entertaining. And yes, it is not complicated story whatsoever, but it's
No.
entertaining, and seeing the artist itself going from shell to shell, which he is very strong cartoonist, but I don't think he was like playing safe for a couple of issues. And now these ones are getting better and better. I mean, even like like I always raved about Deadly Class and how good his art was in here. It's another step for him, in different kind of creature world where he's
Yeah.
creating not just your daily life. But if you want to sample that, also I highly recommend Deadly Class to anybody. Beautiful.
Yeah, and Paulo Costa, it's worth reading for sure, Paulo.
Yeah.
Once you're done Department of Truth, I think it's a fun one. Again, like making sure you're going in with your eyes open, though, that it's
Yeah.
not complex storytelling. It's
No,
not adults
it is
only.
fun.
It's very kind of approachable for
Yeah.
all ages. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it is what it is, and it's completely happy being in that world. But it also just does it, I think, really well. And again, it's for me, the story absolutely is enjoyable, but the art from page to page is it's such a joy to kind of like really live in that world, especially in the way that I was reading it in lots of chunks, because I read those final 2 issues back to back as well too. And that's kind of how I want to try to go about it, like still collect the singles, but maybe save up a few and read them at once, you know, to really
Yeah.
kind of get in that space. So yeah, it's
And then
nice. It's really nice stuff.
so there's collected as well. They all collected
Yeah, the
now.
first volume's out already. Yeah.
Yeah, actually gonna come out this month. So maybe maybe next week or the end of the November. He said is that
Mm.
the whole chunk of his 12 issues now is gonna be
Wow.
collected.
Oh,
So you
nice.
have 2 volumes, 2 volumes. So number
Mhm.
1 is already out, which you can sample the first 6 issues, I presume. Like that, this is what image format is all about. First 6 issues, volume 1. Then, and I presume it's gonna go hardcover out. So if you want to wait even further more for the hardcover, which probably is gonna be a beautiful one as well, if he's has
Mhm.
a good team behind him. And yeah, I highly recommend to that. And it's just like such a you can read with anybody. That's the thing, the storyline.
Yeah, totally.
It's that's the beauty of it. And there's some scary creatures a little bit, but the way he's drawing it and the way it's portrayed with the color scheme, which is Wardy, isn't it? Yeah, Wardy. Let me give you the
Yeah.
whole quick. Jason Wardy is on the colors, and AWS Tom Napolitano is a letterer. So yeah, that's the team. But definitely, what a beautiful work of art,
Mhm.
for sure. Especially such
Yeah.
a nice, heartfelt storyline as well. So
Yeah.
far. So far, it's not finished.
It's exciting to see him kind of, I don't know how much he's done solo in the past. Is this his first solo work?
No, he has done it before.
Okay.
It's about the diggers. I forgot the name. I never read it as
Oh,
well.
right.
It's
I know exactly what you're
it's
talking
collected
about. Yeah,
edition
yeah.
as well. He came out with that. I always wanted, but now I can't see it anywhere like properly, like
Mm.
available for me. So in kind of like rapid succession. But he's definitely done it while he took I think a slight break from Deadly Class. I think,
Mhm.
or after he just finished Deadly Class, he produced something. Or was it
Okay.
between? I don't know. I think it was in between. But anyway, yeah. So he done it before.
Hmm. Hmm.
So he's this is something. I think this is more bigger because before it was just like a hardcover. Yeah.
Volume 1 is 1 to
Ah,
5. Volume 2 is 7 to 11. Oh, so he did miss out number 6.
he did number 1. Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
So how he's gonna
I wonder if
collect
he'll
that?
put those in like the hardcover collection or something.
Maybe because he did say that's why Mr. Terrence here is a bit angry.
Copped out. I'm not
Because
really angry, but like, yeah.
yeah,
Because
we
again, it
want to.
wasn't a surprise. We knew that he would.
Yeah,
It didn't
yeah,
seem realistic, you know.
yeah.
It was
But
a nice gesture and all, but yeah.
interesting. So he definitely didn't do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So it has to be a hardcover. I mean, if he said that he's going to include them, something has to happen. Or maybe that would be another thing. Like trade paperback people, you can't have all of it. So buy hardcover instead.
And that's the part, honestly, like if we want to
Yeah.
really get down to the root of it, that's the stuff that legitimately does make me a bit pissed off, because it feels like this manipulation, right? Of trying to
Well,
get you to buy more volumes, where it's like, how about just don't fuck around and just do it?
stick.
You know what I mean? Like just actually just do things, you know what I mean? Like don't try to play games, you know what I mean? So yeah, because that's the stuff that honestly kind of gets me annoyed with the whole thing.
There you go. You got
Yeah,
it
there you
done.
go, Gunny. You got it.
Yeah, exactly. The right thing. Yeah, I just
Or
like
should I
it.
call you AFPC?
Is that
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just always suspicious when a new person comes into the chat.
could be like Department of Truth Trades, which collects issues out of order? What? Oh my god, interesting. I didn't know Department of Truth does that as
Yeah,
well.
there you go. Yeah.
Ooh, that's kind of interesting. Weird.
So one I picked up today, I went to this shop that I never really
Well,
go to because it's kind of overpriced, kind of continuing with that story we were talking about at the beginning about some shops having stuff
mhm.
that's maybe not always priced to move. This is one of those shops that kind of has that with a lot of stuff, but I've really been fixated on trying to fill in some gaps in the Firefly run. So I thought I'd go there. I found actually one issue that I didn't have, but I also found issue number 1 of Aliens Dead Orbit by James Stokoe, which I know has been collected
Uh-huh.
Dude, this is really
Yeah.
fucking good.
If you like
I'm
Stoko. Yep.
I happen to love Stoko. I
Yeah,
just
exactly.
actually rewatched the first Alien movie as well too. And one
Ooh.
of the things that really impressed me about the original movie was like
Mhm.
for the first, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or something. First of all, the way that they present like the title of it, like that kind of design element for the title sequence is unbelievable. But once you kind of get out of that, there's really this atmospherics and stuff that's happening to introduce you to the world. I feel like Stoko has captured that pretty well here because for the
Mhm.
first few pages, there's not much dialogue, but you're starting to get introduced into the world of this dead orbit, and the characters and kind of the ship. So we get page after page of just silence as this person is moving through space. We get the computer kind of talking to him in a couple of panels, but other than that, I get the impression that this is kind of like the afterword, and then we back up to the before finally, where we start to see a different part of the story and we're introduced to more of the characters on the ship. And even with kind of another thing that was appealing about the original Alien movie was the characters were kind of labor, you know what I mean? These were just working people who were on these salvage missions and stuff. And I think he captures that pretty well here too, that these are just kind of a labor force that happens to have this particular job where they're out in space. They've come
Mhm.
across this
Mr. Howler.
they've come across this ship that's been stranded, of course, because that's kind of what you have to do in the alien world. You have to get introduced to the aliens somehow.
Mhm.
But James Stocco is an amazing artist, and it's also good to get like one of the. If I had a mild complaint about Stocco, is that he often uses the same color palette on stuff. There's
Mhm.
similar colors here, but I find that the color use in this one is so much more subdued than what it is in some of his other books. That's not a complaint about the other books because I love those books as well, but I do appreciate him kind of scaling it back a little bit on this one.
Mhm.
So they come across this ship where they found three bodies that have been, they're in their stasis or whatever, and they're going to wake them up. And I hesitate to show you anything more from this point because I do
Mhm.
think do need to see it for yourself. Yeah, I won't even go to the next page, but I know that this has been collected into a collected edition as well too. I think it was only a 3-issue miniseries,
Mhm.
possibly a 4. My CLZ I think only had 3 issues listed, but man, oh man, it's good. I'm not like I like the Alien and Aliens movies for sure. I'm not
Mhm.
as super hardcore as some other people are, although again, rewatching Alien the other day kind of really puts a little more of that world into my head because it was such a fantastic movie to see again. I think it's one that really kind of rewards on multiple viewings to kind of get into that world, especially knowing some of the backstory. They hated the other actors hated. I can't believe I'm blanking on her name. Ripley. They hated her. It was, I think,
Huh?
her first movie, and they weren't really accommodating to her whatsoever. So some of the relationships that you see in the movie are kind of legitimate as to how they felt about Sigourney Weaver in that space. She kind of got treated horribly.
Seriously.
Ridley Scott is kind of a notorious asshole on set, kind of a real piece of shit to kind of deal with. So you can feel some of that tension in the movie, but I think it really makes for an amazing movie in general. But this one is a real strong opening for
Mhm.
James Stocco. Hello, Howler Mouse, by the way. Hello.
Yes. I
Yeah,
was waiting
really,
for you to finish so I can say hello.
real solid start. Yeah, a real
Yeah.
solid start. I don't know how easy it is to find these other single issues. I may have to get the collected edition, but I'm going to keep
Mhm.
my eyes open for the singles.
They're a good alien yeah.
One of the
Mhm.
things I saw today was he had a square bound Alien, and it was a
Mhm.
collection of a bunch of the short stories from Dark Horse Presents,
Yeah.
in one volume, but the price on it was just way too much. So I passed on it. But yeah, I'd love to see some of that stuff too.
That book now completely I just came to my mind. You know that book, which I don't remember the full name for, but you know, just James Tinian book about the cat that people who went into collected in the night in the
Yeah,
cabin, whatever.
house last
How,
house on the lake or something
yeah,
like
yes. I
that,
mean,
or yeah.
so I forgot. Did you enjoy the ending? Did you finish?
I didn't enjoy the
Yeah.
ending, and
Okay.
it kind of pissed me off because the whole series up to that point was
Yeah.
really, really fucking good, and I was really hoping for kind of a nice, here's the
Uh-huh.
12 issues, it's all tied up, and
Yeah.
the ending was like, hey, get
Yeah.
ready for volume 2, and it
Yeah.
kind of pissed me off because I
Yeah.
was really enjoying it up to that
Yeah.
point. I
Thank you,
would still
Frank.
recommend it to read for sure, but
But you know,
I thought the ending was disappointing.
I watched 3 more people talking about it, and all of them said the same shit.
Yeah, really, hey. Yeah.
Loved the beginning, and then hated the end because
Because
probably
I mean,
that's.
he led us to, he didn't, I don't know if he said it specifically, but he
Uh-huh.
definitely led us to believe that it
Yeah.
was going to be a contained story. And that's what I
Yeah.
want from some of that stuff. I want a contained, it's the same issue that I
Yeah.
had with We Live. We
Yeah.
Live was fantastic until all of a sudden it turned into an intro for a superhero universe. Go fuck yourself. That's not what I want. I don't want another fucking superhero universe. I want a standalone story, So yeah.
I wasn't happy, and nobody's talking about it anymore. Did they stop? They didn't.
No, yeah, nobody talks about the second
Yeah.
volume. It's out there.
Exactly.
I haven't heard anybody talk about it because who gives a shit? Like you want something original. Don't give us something that we've been fed
Yeah.
for a long time. Like do something different, man.
Oh. Anyway,
I'd
interesting.
still recommend Nice House though. I think it's if you can get it from the library, go for it.
Yeah. Have you
I
read this
haven't I
one?
haven't been to that shop yet to pick up my pull list. I haven't been there.
I can't talk about it now because there's basically this issue it explains all,
Okay.
not like all, but you understand the title. Basically, what I'm trying to say,
Okay.
sacrifices. So you understand why and what's the reason behind it. So I need you. You need to read it before I talk about it. But
I'll go there this week then to pick up my books
well,
and then
not rushing you. I'm not rushing you, but just to let you know that because it came out this month, so I thought maybe
great
you.
cover. Yeah,
Yeah.
I sometimes get to that shop, but sometimes it takes me a month to get there.
Yeah, and just to, it's not a spoiler, but Max Furiyama's art is still stunning.
Yeah, amazing.
I love this one. Dave McCain is and the Rasmussen creators, and once again another team which colors are working so well together. But we'll talk about it. I'll keep it on the side, so we talk about it
Cool.
on the next one. Oh, Mr.
Hello.
Damian, how's it? Didn't finish the first volume, but it kind of seemed like Tinian's only that story wise. If you don't think, okay, interesting. So he's
Yeah.
because he's been doing a lot of Batman stuff, isn't it, for the DC comics?
Yeah.
I'm gonna my Turtles. So I
Oh,
didn't
sweet.
apparently haven't read my previous. So there's 144 and 145, another milestone, but a road to 150. So I think after 150, Sophie Campbell is gone. So the third creator who has been part of the for 50 issues with Turtles, she's leaving. So they're gonna work towards that.
Sorry,
She's
did you
doing,
say she's leaving?
yeah, she's leaving the Turtle line. She was
Okay,
like,
okay.
they introduced the third writer. She started to introduce lots of new kind of like that metanimal kind of part of the turtles, and she's now leaving the team because I guess she wants to do something else now, or I don't know where the turtles are gonna be because they've been producing a lot of this Last Ronin stuff, which I'm kind of lost. I followed the first volume. Now they have lots of them. Last Ronin 2 now is going to come out, which is Re Revolution, introducing, as I say, the next generation of Ninja Turtles. I'm still concentrating on these turtles, which I absolutely love and adore. And this 144th issue was the end of the storyline, which included the Barlow, and I told you about the Dragon Scales, and it was very good, like 5-issue storyline about this crazy the doctor or surgeon who was turned into kind of slash rat slash kind of human, like mix and match, and he was so pissed off with everything that he decided to experiment and return himself back to being human. But our sixth turtle, Venus, whose her first appearance in the TV show, she is came to kind of aid in a way, and they decided to basically take because what he was, his power was that he was manipulating all the turtles' brains. They put them into where they gave him scenarios where they are completely afraid of. So your weaknesses were put through, and he was thinking he's going to defeat them. But thankfully, like always, turtles are having lots of friends and team members who can support them. And basically, his he was starting to turn into this creature, which is absolutely vile. Looks like a bold rat slash something else. I couldn't even create this. So it's kind of like I would definitely wouldn't show my child this kind of issue, because it's just like looks really crazy creatures and stuff, and it kind of looks really dark in for turtles in generally. But they defeated him, and they turned him they didn't kill them. So in order to teach him a lesson, they turned him into a baby rat instead. So he's basically gonna have to go back being a child with old man's things. And the turtles are splitting apart in this issue as well. They are splitting into doing their own thing, because the world has opened up and nobody's afraid of mutants anymore. They decided that they need to live and they want to have a life kind of thing. So lots of them has some sort of ideas what the future would be entailing for them. And one Raphael is deciding to take his cool ass Kawasaki motorcycle and go on a tour of the country. And April and Donatello, I think, gonna go into sleeping mode. My phone says we're going to discover a new storyline which starts with this issue, and it goes magic slash time travel, which is confusing. And we're gonna have also a new artist called Vincenzo Federici, and he's doing. They still continuously, no matter whose artist is, you'll recognize all the turtles, which I really like. It's almost similar with Dane, how Hellboy was dealt with. Every time a new artist comes into, you still, almost seeing them to, you will recognize them. You won't question who he is, and he's doing a really good job. And it's lots of past and future warps opening with magic involved. Is a bit confusing to me yet. They kind of cleverly try to explain that to April, because she's the one, like a dead person. It's like, oh, I don't understand, please explain, like that comic book part. And he's like, okay, let me explain to you what we're gonna do in this one. And I was like, even after I've read it, like, huh? You because they telling you some science information and magic involved together, and time traveling, and somebody from future comes in, starts to basically poke in the wrong direction, and they end up, spoiler alert, people, like proper spoiler alert, if you read the titles, they end up 12,000 or whatever, 12 million years into past. 12 million years ago. So oopsie, we're gonna be somewhere not in New York. So we'll see what's gonna happen next. I'm intrigued, because this is new, very, very new, fresh to see turtles being in this kind of part. Although they do have like underworld and other things, but it's a lot of things involved. And Venus is still together, because she's magic and she still has dragon scale, but she has all power of it. She understands how to use it properly. But anyway, really intrigued. A new storyline begins, and it's going strong, like always. I still thoroughly enjoy. Yes, I loved the cartoon movie. Absolutely, highly recommend to anybody. If you at all into turtles, or you have no clue about turtles, if your kids not have a clue about turtles, watch the movie. It's absolutely fantastic. It's full-blown entertainment, and no matter how old you are, it's as entertaining. I mean, all ages, but still funny. Funny.
One of my favorite animators slash artists, J.J. Villard. He designed the logo for the new movie. He's the guy that did King Star King. So check out
Yeah.
King Star King on YouTube. Nothing like the Turtles, but I think he also had some hand in animation as well for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good. It's a surprisingly good movie. Even my wife was really digging it when we watched it.
Yeah, Damon skills go continue. They have such a big fan base. They will
Yep.
try to. I just hope IW is not
Milk that.
gonna. I know that IW is struggling as a company. As far as heard, they're struggling. They're not producing anymore as much. They're losing licenses as well. The
Mhm.
Turtles kept being kept strong, and I think is what flagship title for them. I presume the money cow, as what DC has, I guess, with Batman, and I think IW's Turtles is a big thing because they have lots of things and there's lots of following for Turtles. Um, so I hope the best for the company, but I heard that Compendium, the Volume 2, isn't printed really well. People also now questioning why they don't have all information of the turtles, all the history, because it's not really kind of explained, because there's licensing issues. Lots of people who buys, they gets into turtles or want to get into turtles buy something like that, collect it, hoping to have all content, but the company seems to be not really explaining that either, which is kind of bad, because then it's bad darts for some people. It's like, why would I be selling something which is not fully collected, which
Yeah,
isn't.
right.
Yeah. Yes, scary. Yeah. Yes, exactly. That's the one thing I've always been hearing, that IW is teetering. So yeah. Hopefully they will be better, because they were strong when they were producing, and I heard the same things. Famously, they collecting the turtles in this whole run, the original run,
Mhm.
like whole run from the single issues. They collect them in hardcovers. Apparently, the schedule has been all over the place now, because it used to be come out really regularly, and then now, because of they having problems with money, is that what's happening to them? So I
Mhm.
hope that's not going to happen. But if you have some, I guess turtles can go somewhere else. But I hope they don't, because then it's the end of the company. Because as I say, I think this is the thing. What the IW
Yeah,
is.
the cash cow. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So let's hope that's not going to happen. But never
Mhm.
know these days,
Yeah,
business
for
wise
sure.
and comic wise. So
Yeah, totally.
Mondo Gecko is
Yeah,
great.
struggles all around, man. It ain't easy.
Yeah.
So going back a little bit, I
Mm-hmm.
picked up a couple more issues of this manga called Sanctuary.
Uh-huh.
Um, I picked up books number 6 and 7. Just wanted to show this one first. It's just it was a reminder to myself too. I had to open it up where I
Mm-hmm.
left off. So the creators, Sho Fumimura, story and art by Ryochi Ikigami, translation by Matt Thorne. Um,
Ooh.
Unbelievable series, and getting into focus there. Getting into
Go on.
getting back into the storyline. We have there was our two main characters are friends that have grown up together. We don't know a ton of their history. One of them has gone the life of the Yakuza, and one has gone to the life of politics, and they've both kind of tasked themselves with becoming the heads or becoming very powerful within those individual organizations, so they can be the voices that kind of changed Japan, bringing Japan into a new era. So a really interesting premise. This issue number 5, issued with our Yakuza guy going to see the boss and kind of making his play by killing him, shooting him in the head, and kind of taking control of the organization himself with his kind of band of gangsters that are coming along. Phenomenal story. One of the things that blows me away about this book is the kind of the art itself. It's such an unusual mix of little more kind of traditional manga elements, using kind of the zip tones and the screens and stuff, and then using a lot of like photographs. Let's find an example of that. Using these photographic elements to add to the story as well. But it is such an intriguing story. We start to learn more about our two main characters, that they grew up in Cambodia during a time of revolution where basically people were being killed en masse, and they were kids when they were experiencing this. They There's one issue, maybe it's not in this one, it might be in issue number 7, where we get a little bit of a flashback to that time where even as children they were put in a position of, you need to follow this. Oh, I'll show you this. Actually, it is this issue. So our Yakuza, he's got this right hand man who originally they kind of butted heads. And this guy wanted to originally take over the organization, but it turns out that this guy kind of conceded that to our main character. Sorry for not remembering the names off of the top of my head. And kind of decided to become his enforcer. So they're outside and they witness this accident where a guy gets hit on his motorcycle by a truck and he gets his head knocked off. And kind of, we really are witness to this very bloody, visceral scene. And our boss character kind of comes in to take control over the situation and kind of grab the guy's head from underneath the truck and put it with his body and cover the body. And basically our reaction here is, I think our new Dawn has seen more horrible things than we can imagine, which leads us into this backstory of their time in Cambodia, where they are tasked, one of the jobs they're tasked with is digging mass graves for a bunch of the adults that are being killed and dumped in these graves. So again, we get this sort of shift in the art style that incorporates kind of realistic, like some photographs that have been kind of manipulated for the comic and stuff. It's unbelievable. Honestly, it is such an intriguing story. It's so well done. Even the lettering. So we're getting this flashback. Like, I love the use of the lettering in these top panels here. The way it becomes kind of like you can see the more rough versions of it before it's kind of polished and finalized. But here we get these people being mowed down and dumped into these holes. And we get our shot of the children kind of filling these holes and what their life was like and what they were kind of subjected to from such an early age, and maybe what kind of motivates them to want to make the changes that they want to in Japanese society. It's an unbelievable book. I find it so intriguing. It has this kind of political drama element. It has this kind of Yakuza kind of gangster show, and it has this historical basis as well too that kind of seep into it. But it went a few volumes, I think 5 volumes totally. I don't know if the whole thing got translated into English by Viz. This is what, 91? Did I say the year already? I don't remember. 1992 is when this was coming out in English by Viz. Highly recommended. I don't know if it got collected, but if you have a lot of comic shops in your town, chances are it's kind of filled somewhat with a lot of Viz, because there were so many Viz comics out there in that time that hopefully you can get your hands on it. I would really recommend looking it up and giving it a read. So far, amazing. And that's only 7 issues in. I think there was 9 or 10 issues for volume 1. Then the other volumes had, I don't know how many issues, but it's really on my radar now.
I'm looking at eBay, like always when you speak, and there's like volume 9.
Oh, okay.
Wait. I'm really confused. Wait, I'm looking the latest.
It's so confusing.
There's volume 8 for sure.
Okay.
So volume 8 volume 8. Oh my god, that's very, like, I can't see the specific how many volumes has been, but I can find volume 5. There is for sure. But then there's Sanctuary 13 of 13, but which volume doesn't say when you look for
And honestly, that's the thing that's so frustrating about collecting some of this Viz stuff, the old stuff. Sometimes the labeling, even on the front, isn't that clear, and you really have to pay attention when you're sort of buying these issues, because it's easy to get confused.
Because there's parts and there's volumes. So which one goes first?
Yeah, right.
because volume is 995. You said 992 yours, so that's volume one.
1992, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Then there's volume 6, 1992 again. But then is it collected? Oh my god, that's really confusing.
Yeah, so it's probably part is
Yeah.
what they're talking about, where we would think of as volume. So
Uh-huh.
part 5 issue,
Yeah.
like volume number 6 would be
Mm-hmm.
volume 5 issue number 6, you know. So I think that's also where it gets confusing, the use of the words to describe what issue number you're looking at versus what chapter, I guess, you're looking at, right? So
Because
but yeah,
there's
it's worth
a
hunting down.
manga series, which is we have 12 volumes of Sanctuary, but I
Okay.
don't know if it's the same creator.
Mm.
And there's
It might have
anime of it.
shifted. That's the other thing. I don't know the whole history of it. I'm
Yeah.
assuming that it's the
Yeah.
same creators through the whole thing, but that very well could have changed as well too.
And it doesn't say if it creators on the post.
Yeah, right.
Okay, then I don't know. Anyway, I was just looking because I really like the way the minute start say Yakuza, and I always
Yeah.
like it in the way it looks really cool. So
And it feels like
mentally,
there's a real they're really referencing some kind of some photos, like some fashion photos, because
Mhm.
there's so many moments where the characters are really standing in the panel, like they're very much posed, they're very much being presented in a way that is
Mhm.
kind of like it's just posed for the reader. So I think that's where that kind of influence can really work in a story like this, where it
Mhm.
is these characters are really playing these roles, they're playing these parts, the whole worlds are being presented in this very kind of stiff kind of way. It's really, really good, and it's just such an intriguing read. The way the story is being laid out so far, chapter by chapter or book to book, is presenting you with this extra little bit of information that I think works well. So
Mhm. So when you like, there's there anybody who decided to go and discover the whole shebang the Viz comic books has produced, what kind of manga they translated? Is there something like a catalog where you can look how far you can connect?
I imagine there is. I haven't really done that kind of look though to see. I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
that there's websites though that collect all of the stuff that Viz
Done.
published and
Yeah.
where that fits into the story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And oftentimes you're getting that information within a single issue. Like I remember reading when I was reading that Kamui from or Kamui from
Yeah.
Eclipse, that samurai story. They did
Mm-hmm.
really good. Eclipse did a really good job of telling you, like, hey, listen, this is only a chunk of a decades long running series. We're not even going to get to a chance where we publish everything, but understand that what you're getting is a piece of a much bigger story.
Mm-hmm.
And which is another highly recommended manga if you're looking to get into stuff. That Kamui is such a good story, man. So beautiful.
Mm.
Or
Yeah. Anyway,
Kamui,
you
or
always show
not
me
sure how to
because
pronounce it. Yeah,
I'm not I have like the comic realm is already intriguing enough, but there's so much manga there is now.
so
People
much.
keep on
Yeah.
talking about and how the comic shops have to kind of like get that going. They was before, but now they basically like how manga take over the bookstores. Like we
Hmm.
used to. I told you, like when I go to the bookstores in the high streets, I go in. The manga section is like wall after wall, and your
Yeah.
graphic novel section is just one kind of
Shrinking.
one
Yeah.
unit. Yeah, and then manga is just absolutely completely covered next to it.
Hmm.
So you kind of like the amount of its stuff readership is you get and popularity it does have now,
Yeah.
which is great for it. Yep. I can't
He had
keep up.
some at the shop I went to today. He had
Good
some
luck.
volumes of Rurouni Kenshin, which is
Mhm.
another anime that I'm a huge fan of.
Mhm.
Um, so even that, like, I would love to read some of that. But the volumes he had like from volume 4, like a bunch of scattered ones, but like the earliest volume he had was 4, the latest volume he had was like 27. So again, getting into some of that stuff, it can be really difficult, because you're really committing to a very long running story, and these are like those thick tankobons as well too. So but I'd love to read some Kenshin because that was such a great anime.
So if you remember, I told you about that podcast I was listening. So the
Yep.
podcast that I'm talking about is called Off the Panel, and it's by
Mm,
David Harper. And the person I was talking to, who works for Skybound, they kind of talk about manga because she's a huge fan of manga as well. But they talk how it influences the production of collected editions and comic books in generally, how we have to think
Mhm.
of that. So the interview is with Morgan Perry. So if you wanted to listen to that podcast, it's kind of intriguing how they have to talk about it now these days. Before it used to be a realm where, you know, comics, we just concentrate on our own world. But now because manga world is such expanding and popular and more than anything else
Hugely
popular.
popular. Yeah.
Exactly. And then now they even mentioned about Berserker and how
Mm.
they had to come out with those graphic novels, and at first they didn't think that it's going to go further than like 6 volumes, and how they
Mhm.
had to keep the people intrigued by it by producing something different in order just to take a break, for example. So I recommend that podcast because it's kind of
Yeah.
intriguing
Cool.
how comic book shops have to basically think of that as well,
Yeah.
so it's interesting. So anyway.
Yeah, and manga is really fast to read as well too. There's a particular flow to it that's really
Yeah.
impressive. And
Uh-huh.
again, it's what I was talking about with Cerebus in my last video on last Sunday,
Yeah.
where it's really set up to read slowly, even when the panels don't have any dialogue.
Uh-huh.
It really can. It's amazing how someone that's a master at their craft can really set a pace. And with
Mhm.
manga, it's unbelievable how smoothly it reads, but how fast you can go through it. But I don't find it particularly confusing. The only thing I find confusing sometimes is maybe a little bit of the translation kind of missteps or
Mhm.
storytelling missteps that I think just happen from translating
Mhm.
something from one language to another.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how well it can kind of move from page to page, and you still get a really good experience with reading it, right? Or at least for myself, anyway. Yeah,
Okay.
Showa is on my list. I really want to read. I really want to read that series as well.
I need to. I don't know if I want to get involved in that world as well because it's just so much to get involved. I already have find it difficult to find a time for comics. Not like it's because I like that moment, like I like that sweet spot where I sit down and just have all like that completely whatever is surrounding me completely out, and then I can just concentrate, which I absolutely love doing that.
Mhm.
So and I read manga, some of it, but it's very quick as well. But there's, what it is sheer volume of it. It's like 150 volumes of one, and you're like, really?
It's
And of course,
intimidating. Yeah.
when you get into it, reading, it's fast, so it's for 150 doesn't sound so bad.
Hmm.
Whereas, like when you see Berserker, like, when they come out with those hardcovers, which is beautiful looking at,
Yep.
but they are like omnibus
They're
size,
huge.
like they're
Yep.
massive. Of course, it's beautiful to look at the pages, and they say they really work hard when they produce that, because just to adhere to what actually Berserker is, and then to intrigue
Hmm.
new readers to come in, and they say like, look, and I saw somebody showed, is this 16 volumes they already produced? I'm not sure.
That could be. Yeah, that could be.
And it's like hardcover 16.
Hmm.
Where did you put that? Anyway, it's just
My
being
son is getting
nitpicky.
volume 9 in for Christmas this year because it
Yeah.
came in the mail. Because
Uh,
he's got a bunch of the
wow.
Tankobon that I had, and
Yeah.
then we started buying
Yeah.
him kind of like the hard covers. So
So
now
you,
volume 9. So he's got it all up to that
uh,
point. So I really
mhm.
should start reading it because I haven't read the whole thing, but
Yeah.
it's just sitting upstairs waiting to be read. So yeah,
Oof. So you really should, you should actually, like show
I
it to
should
us
dig
once
into it.
again.
Yeah, I
Yeah, because
should
I've
dig into
seen
it for
some on
sure.
YouTube, but like when we talk, it's actually quite nice to see it anyway.
Hmm.
And my last thing from the new stuff, which I managed to receive today, is of course the
Hey, nice.
Usagi, and this is a really good cover,
Pull
by the
out
way.
mine as well too.
Oh, you have it as well? Did
I
you
sure
get?
do, and I was waiting. Yeah, I was waiting for you to talk about it because I was going to talk about it
Oh,
last week, and I figured I'd wait
I
because
thought.
I saw issue number 2, and
Uh-huh.
then they only had one copy of issue number 1 on the shelf, so I grabbed it as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, I read them both.
Oh, because your initial number one is by somebody else, isn't it? Because I've not seen the cover. Because they
Yeah, I don't
produce.
know who this cover is.
Yeah, it says to you
Scotty.
actually.
Oh, it's my favorite. You're my favorite Scotty Young. But it's actually a good cover. It's actually he did a great job on it. So,
Yeah.
but I love this cover because this is the first appearance of Usagi in
Hmm.
that albedo.
Yeah.
It's this cover just with Usagi standing behind the screen there.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. Anyway, so you know that your favorite Scott Young is going to DC comic books? Did you guys know?
Oh, really? Hey,
He
thank
announced
God I
it.
don't read any DC.
I like Scott Young. Don't diss him. He
No, no,
actually
I know. I'm just kidding.
his artwork is fantastic if he doesn't do the babies.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the
I
baby
agree
thing.
because I really like this cover. I really like
Yeah.
his art on this cover.
Yeah.
I can't stand the baby shit, but this I really dig.
Yeah. Cool deep knowledge of Isagi. There you go. Good one. 5 points
Yeah,
for
Albedo.
Terrence.
I think it's Albedo issue number 2. I think is so you can look it up online. But this is a really good homage, especially considering I don't know much about the characters, but I think this is his big nemesis, isn't it? This
Yeah.
particular character.
Yeah. Yes. So he absolutely despises it, as far as I know.
Hmm.
Well, like manga definitely airs its audience,
Yeah, for sure.
introducing about the tattoos and all that stuff. He's a good writer. He is. His stuff with what that the girl. Oh, why I'm blanking the name? What is going on with me? Greta, is her name is Greta? I don't know. Anyway, he
Yeah.
wrote his Image series, and it's hilarious, absolutely
Mm.
spot on. He has really good writing skills, by the way. So he's well worth to, maybe if you don't like his art, maybe you should read something he wrote. Anyway,
Mhm.
talking about Usagi Yojimbo, I'm not the biggest fan of a price tag, but I am
Right.
in, I'm loving having Usagi in my pull list, because I don't know
Yeah,
how
man.
about you so far. So you
I love these issues.
back to back? Did you read them, or one
I
issue
did
or
read them
one?
back to back. No, I read them back to back. I sat
There you
down and
go.
read them one right after the other.
Yeah, and it's really good. So Ice and Snow is
Really good.
five-part series, or 271th issue of Usagi Yojimbo. And it continues to be that tale where our cousin and Usagi's cousin and him travels, but this is the guy who is basically kind of follow them in the footsteps, because they kind of treating in along the same path. Um, and he took over this the clan. I really like the way his dynamics, like, I'm the boss. Why is the boss? There's two guys, like several
Yeah.
guys comes in, bam, bam, bam. I thought you're not gonna open a door for us, and then he opens the door and it's like, who is this guy? And then everybody's afraid
Yeah.
of him. And that's the
I'm the
beauty
guy that's
about,
gonna fuck you up.
yeah, and the beauty of the Stan Sakai as a writer and creator of this series, he has this moments which I really like. The humor, it really works for me. And then like
Yeah.
then he's like still charging you, and then the one hiss and he's like stops. Okay, I'm surrendering. You're the boss. You're the boss. This is the way you
Yeah.
have to be at the boss. But he's freaky, so he's undead. I'm not really sure his background, because I am still new to Usagi Yojimbo. So the readers of the Usagi Yojimbo, please tell us a bit more. But I think they do have history with him, like Usagi, because he even says in this some of the series prior to that, saying when he was in there, he was saying, it's long time coming. So yeah, and it's fantastic, and it's continuously going the same way. Like they getting to destinations. Another, that's the thing. That's why I thought you would as well love this, like you do, or like Kaya. It's the story where you can read with your kids. Still, the way he kills them, it's actually fantastic, because you just see the skull above them. They did, no eyeballs and stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
So you still can read with your kids, but it's so intriguing and entertaining to find out these fugal times. And another thing I realized, they still have a little bit more information now at the back, at the front, which is, I think, this Dark Horse thing now. It's the same thing, or actually not Dark Horse, but IDW is doing the same with the Turtles. They give you some sort of like the full history of Usagi, sort of, and what's happening at the moment. So
a little synopsis. I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah, it really does help. But it's I don't know. I love it. Every single time I was like, oh, I'm get so excited, because I'm just gonna get something to read Usagi again. And this lady of the snow, and how she was
So
just
good, dude.
Yeah, they were sitting in that cabin. Well, supposedly she's doing them a favor, but in generally she's after they being in order for her to survive. And
there's a Japanese movie called Kwaidan, Kwaidan, I think. Criterion Collection put out it's a bunch of short stories, and one of the stories is about this character, like this exact same character, this
Mhm.
this snow kind of ghostly character.
Mhm.
Unbelievable. So it's that Japanese lore that I think he weaves so well into this Usagi. Because I mean, I
Mhm.
know these characters sort of because I know some of the stories. So like
Uh-huh.
reading it and seeing it presented in this way is
Yeah.
one of the things that's so enjoyable so far about reading these two issues. Because
Mhm.
I knew it was coming. I was just waiting to see it happen, right? But
Yeah.
it's handled so well. Like it's great. And I love ghost stories like this anyway.
Yeah.
Especially that are kind of steeped in this Japanese folklore, I think is
Yeah.
appeals to me even more.
Well, that's why I liked Hellboy so much as well, because he's
Yeah.
using folklore storylines to tell the stories of Hellboy being part of them. This is one of my favorite things, because when she was like
Mhm.
basically burned by Usagi and she's like
Yes.
lifeless, and she's like a dead person, like creeps up and he like
Totally.
kind of stands up and barely, I need food, and
It's
then
so
the
great,
last
man.
page is saying it's great, she's gonna find them. But yeah,
And
it's
his art also,
yeah,
like, because you see him kind of portraying these kind of
yeah,
anthropomorphic, kind of cute figures,
yes,
even when he
yes,
does them kind of monstrous, the
yeah,
way he changes her body language, the way
yes.
she's kind of hunched over, it's so good, dude.
Yeah,
It's really good.
it's very scary. Look at those faces. I mean, that
Yeah.
she looks so beautiful when she was, when they entered her house. She have that typical Japanese kind of like lady.
Yeah.
Okay, come on in. Here, there's your entrance. But then afterwards, you see have a face, which is spectacular.
And
Still
it's
love it.
still and it's I don't find it super scary. Like you were saying, this is,
Hmm.
this could be another one that you could read with the kids because yes,
Yeah,
she's a monster and a ghost, but it's not
yeah,
like horrific to the part of being like
yeah.
super
Disfigured.
terrifying. It
Yes,
it's it yeah, he does so well with that, keeping it in that kind of cartoony realm.
very good, very good. One of the things to look
So
for.
good. I'm gonna see if I can
Um.
share my screen. Hold on a
uh,
sec.
Okay, so I'm really glad that I don't know, he just continues going back to having the Usagi back in the pull list, and they keep on talking about Nausicaa. Now you make me want to watch. Oh, come on,
Is that
Princess.
showing? Can you see that?
No, I can see your face only. Oh wait, sorry, stupid. Wait, there
Oh,
you
you
go.
have to share it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. So
Oh
that's the
yes.
homage to that, right? So that's Albedo Volume
Yeah.
1, Number 2. I think recently they had them come up. They had a copy come up on my comic shop, but it's pretty damn pricey because that would
Yep.
be a cool one to have, Usagi's first appearance. But yeah, so there you go. You can see that homage right there.
I was looking at that. I was looking for it so many, like, how often. Yeah, I looked at all the walls, and he's been doing that kind of homage. There's a Winnie the Pooh one, and it's £80.
Seriously?
Yes, eighty
Show that one.
pounds. Okay, I'll show you. On
And
eBay.
as far as Nausicaa, I just watched Nausicaa again the other week with my daughter and my wife. I fucking
Ghibli.
love Nausicaa. I think it's probably
Mm-hmm.
I love Studio Ghibli. I love
Mm-hmm.
Miyazaki, but honestly, I think Nausicaa is his best one. Oh my god, All Out Poo. What?
80 pounds. 80 pounds.
And sorry, that's an alternate cover for what series?
I don't know. It says All Out Pooh, one shot. Anthropomorphics. Usagi Pooh. It says, but then
Oh my gosh. I need to
the
find that one, I think.
homage Usagi Pooh cover trade dress, but that doesn't describe what is the series. Albedo 2 homage Usagi Pooh. Don't know. It doesn't say anything much of that. I just told you all information. That
I'll
is
keep
so
that in
cool.
mind and look it up.
80 pounds, man.
Yeah.
All Out Pooh, people.
I'm going to make a note of it right now. Yeah, there it is there. Put it on one of my other tabs. Metropolis is great. Metropolis isn't a Ghibli one. I think Metropolis, isn't that Tezuka? Isn't that a Akira related movie there? Metropolis?
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's so
Sorry
many.
if I'm getting the names correct or not, but yeah.
Wow. Usagi Yojimbo number 20 had the same cover with somebody lurking behind as well. And it's a £100.
Usagi number 20, is that what you said?
Yeah. It's Usagi Jimbo number 20, IDW as well. So this is recent one, which I didn't collect. Then there's a chibi version of the
You
same
have the
cover.
picture on your. Do you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
the picture on your phone?
yeah. Go, give me a second.
Oh, hey, look at that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
Right.
then there's the chibi version, anniversary edition, slabbed, of course. Somebody slabbed it.
Good grief. So he's
And
done it. It's happened a few times.
yeah, and this one, of course, because it's slabbed, is £300.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's been a
Oh,
while.
yeah, here
It's
it is
been
here.
yeah. So there's some, but
It's good that in that Usagi Yojimbo number 20 homage there,
yeah.
it's nice he's got the kind of shadow of
Yes.
that original is
Yes,
really well
exactly.
done there.
Yeah, but then his first appearance on eBay is non-existent. You can't buy it on eBay then.
Right.
It's not very easy comic book to find generally because they haven't been printing that. I don't think there's many printing of that comic in generally. I don't have my like, because I remember I remember one of the first time I went to comic book conventions and I saw slabbed one and I was like, and it was like crazy price. Was that $1,000 or something in that time? I don't know. I don't remember. It was a lot for me, which I wasn't still yet going into that. But yeah, it's very nice. But Usagi Jimbo is very popular. I mean, hardcovers is impossible to get hold of, and somebody's asking for hardcover collected editions, like, because there's now also there's a series of it. So I think isn't it 6 volumes now or more? I don't know. But anyway, those which is collects all of this work as well, and those are like crazy out of print. So
yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, I'm on for this one though. I'm gonna add it to my pull list at 204 Comics there, because I'm on to it because this is his first miniseries back at Dark Horse, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna jump on it for sure too.
I like it. I mean, as you say, it's like nice heartfelt storyline to read. It's such a good thing to anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm glad the Dark Horse is kind of going back to what they know. They got Usagi back. Now they're producing more comic books. Apparently there's a robot Hellboy coming out, which I'm not collecting now in singles. But like I'm such a massive fan of this chunk I have now.
Yeah.
Okay, let me do another exercise before I sleep. Oh, these people
Tome.
Tome, a Bible stand. Maybe I'll be putting down for it.
Yeah,
but
right.
This is I can sleep with it now next to it. Yeah, like my half of my face fits in it. So
yeah.
Chunky comparing to my face, chunky. Anyway, very pleased.
I'll just talk about one more here.
Yeah, because I'm done.
And then we can call it if you want. Vacuum Decay. Another. I've talked about it before. So these are the final 2 issues that I needed to kind of complete how much he's published so far. So this is Harry Nordlinger, unbelievable artist. I bought some original art from him as well too. But now I have the one thing that I always say when I talk about Vacuum Decay is one of the difficult things with recommending small press and indie publishers or self-published stuff is that once you miss the boat for most of them, you've missed the boat. You can't get it anymore unless you kind of pay big top dollar on like the aftermarket. What he's done so well is keep this stuff in print. I think one of these. So, for example, this is issue number 4. This is the 4th printing of this. So he does really good, and he understands kind of when there's demand for stuff. Instead of losing that money to the aftermarket, he's able to financially just do a reprint of this stuff. So the 4th print, because it's $10 an issue, but you're getting a double-sized issue, and it's a half. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, it's an anthology, so you're getting a bunch of different artists, and this is his horror anthology. And the thing that I think of every single time I read one of these issues, how is it possible that this issue is even more disturbing than the last one. It's really in that realm of this is sort of horror and grotesqueness at a different level. So every issue you get a nice list. Mike Diana is included in this, and Mike Diana, for those of you who know, Boiled Angel, infamous in the United States as being the first comic artist that was brought in on charges of obscenity with the comics that he was doing. And it was a huge court case. There's a documentary that's been done about Mike Diana that's well worth checking out, looking into the history of Mike Diana himself. But these are some twisted, kind of visceral kind of horror. I wouldn't say it's like psychologically disturbing, but yeah, there's some body horror elements for sure, Miss So, but there's also just some real twisted kind of ideas going on. But the thing is, you're getting some amazing indie artists really pushing the boundaries of kind of comics and what you can do with comics and how you can present this. Like, again, there's this idea of some of this stuff becomes more horrific when you see like a kind of really grotesque kind of horror movie. It has a different resonance because you know that there's a team of people that are working on stuff. There's a group of people. When it comes to some of these comics, it takes on a whole other kind of disturbing factor because at the end of the day, for the most part, you're dealing with one person. So the idea of how comics can be kind of a really good way for one human being to be able to brace yourselves, get the kids around the screen. The idea of it being a way to kind of communicate from one person's psyche to another person, one of the more direct kind of ways to communicate with people. In this one, you're dealing with some real visceral kind of ideas. Yeah, after reading manga horror, nothing shocks me anymore. I mean, honestly, I think some of this stuff might shock you. It's pretty extreme shit. There's also some stories. Sorry, go ahead.
Where'd you get this vacuum from? Where'd you order from?
Where did I get it from? Directly from Harry Nordlinger. I think it's vacuumdecay.com, I think is what the website is.
Because the gun was wondering.
Here's the Mike Diana stuff, I think. Or nice. If not, it's somebody who's looking a lot like Mike Diana. Although I should check that before I say that. So it is Mike Diana. So this is kind of a look at what his style was, and his stuff was really, because he dealt with a lot of like what were kind of humans, I guess, or children and stuff that were getting these horrific things done to them. It's such a good series. And here's Harry Nordlinger's stuff himself. This is a fantastic story. I've read a bunch of Nordlinger stuff at this point, and most of it I really like, but this is one of the stronger ones, called Yawning. One of the stronger pieces that I've seen from him so far in this series. But highly recommended if you're into this sort of stuff. If you're a little more sensitive to it, don't get it for sure. But
I just want to say,
I believe that.
It's nice that it's black and white, because if it would be red there, I definitely couldn't look at it.
Yeah. And it also has that, some of the ones they come off as a little more kind of black comedy because the art styles, right? Like some of these art styles, even if they show you some horrific stuff, something like this isn't going to have that kind of extreme reaction out of you because it is still kind of that cartoony type of look to it, right? So I stay away from extreme gore because it just bores me after a while. It's lazy writing to me, but and I totally hear that. And this is kind of on that visceral end of things, right? Like this isn't something that I find it kind of digs deep sometimes, you know what I mean, as far as kind of scaring you in a different sort of way. Yeah. But this is a hell of a series, man. I'm really glad that he does so good at keeping them in print and making it easy to get your hands on. He sent me a print as well too with this, so like a piece of his art. He's the guy I got a Vacuum Decay t-shirt, and I ended up buying the original art that he used for that t-shirt. It's also got a page from one of his mini comics on that flip side of one of those pages too. So super great guy. It's amazing that he's kind of able to keep doing this, and yeah, strongly recommended for sure. But know what you're getting into for sure.
Mhm. So he does that. So his own accord to do that as a collected edition from other artists. So he finds somebody who he likes and says, "Okay, do you want to join me?" Basically, and I'll do everything for you. Is that what you were
Yeah,
saying?
and
He does?
that side of it, I'm not so sure. I
Yeah.
imagine that everybody is getting a piece of it, even when it comes to the reprints. I don't know how that pay structure goes for him.
Yeah.
I hope that that's the way that it goes. If he's reprinting this stuff, that the artists who originally
would be nice.
contributed are also getting a cut of things. But I'm not super familiar with how he runs that side of things.
Yeah. And Howler, that's not omnibus; it's a monster bus.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not. It's definitely. It's crazy. I think Damien knows what I'm talking about because he got that Kirby DC comic books that are produced. That Kirby all collected in the Third World collected, isn't it? With 1,005 something odd pages as well. So he knows what I'm talking about the size, sheer size of it. Yeah, I hope he's getting profits
I think at this point, I would hope that there's profit in it, Damien. I mean, if he keeps reprinting it, I imagine there's got to be something coming in a return to him to kind of have that money, unless he's kind of independently wealthy. Like, I think he's a projectionist from following him on social media. So I imagine there's something coming in from it that makes him able to kind of keep this stuff in print. I'm not assuming that there's huge profits in it, but must be a bit. Fourth World too big. I gave it away. Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm so pleased with this. I'm gonna lift it again. Oh yeah. Yeah. No,
hey,
it's
man,
very
you got
big
my
though.
attention for it as well too. Like, I'm curious about that.
But it's because it's so well done. Oh, did I, Damien? I'll give you a book pleasing moment. Wait, give me a second. Look at the eye open. Look at me, cuckoo. It's crazy.
It's amazing.
It's really very well printed stuff. So Dark Horse. Anyway, sorry, I've been showing that way too often, but I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's outstanding.
Yeah. So anyway, talking about sorry for my sleepies already. My do you remember the TV series I said to you I'm watching and you should watch? It's very depressing as well because it's a drama. Bones of Crows, you know, that Native Americans in Winnipeg.
Oh, in Winnipeg, really?
I think so, if I'm correct. Oh. You might be. Bones of Crows. It's one season. It's actually, there's a movie. Oh yes, Gore Vidal. Hello, Mr. Gore.
Hello, Gore Vidal.
Yeah, it is a workout. My shoulder is already hurting actually. The Bones of Crows. So don't mistake it with the movie because the movie is the same name, but it's a TV series. Mini series.
Okay.
Yeah.
I made a note. I'll have to check it out.
But be warned, it's quite depressing.
Yeah. Did you? I think I don't know. Did I send you a message? Reservation Dogs, the third season is out now on Disney Star, and it's the last season. They're not doing any more. They're ending the show, so it's all out now. And we watched the whole thing, and it's honestly, it might just be me, but every single episode is a tearjerker. Like, it's amazing. And there is one episode where you get the history of the Deer Lady and her involvement with the residential school system. So that's a pretty heavy episode as well too, because they kind of show some of the things that were going on, presented from her kind of story. Unbelievable show. Anybody who hasn't seen Reservation Dogs, 3 seasons, I think it's 10 episodes each season. It is so highly recommended. It is a phenomenal show. So well done and incredible each and every episode. And it kind of ramps up every single episode. Things get better and better as the series goes on. But really, really good if you want to see like stories from Indigenous peoples, writers, directors, producers. It's all from their voices, right? So really, really recommended.
Was it Taika Waititi at all involved in that?
Taika
Or
Waititi is one of the producers. Yeah, correct.
oh,
That's
okay.
correct.
I was thinking,
It's
I'm
people that
imagining.
he went to school with, I think. Like, it's people that he's known for quite a long time, and he I think he was an executive producer on it, possibly. I don't know if he had any hand in the creative. I don't remember. I don't think so, though. I think he
I
was
don't
just
think so
more on the
either.
producer ends of things.
Yeah, just the name for them to scream about it. But yeah, he's there, and I don't know if you were talking about Taika Waititi. I saw an interview and they asked him about the child actor he employed. It's a chubby kid. He has really good. Oh, he was a bad guy in Deadpool 2.
Oh, I haven't seen Deadpool 2.
Oh, damn it! Why not?
I haven't seen even the first one of that. Yeah.
Oh, shut up! It's funny.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It's very stupid, but it's so funny.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah,
so
no, I bet it is.
the people who actually watched Deadpool 2 is the kid in the prison with Deadpool. Anyway, he was talking about this guy, this kid, how he basically found him, and he said how beautiful actual kids as an actors are, because they just, that's what you get, like it's not like drama, overfilled emotions, and he knows everything and what to do and blah blah blah. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Thank you, Miss O. It's very good to see you here.
Right on. Yeah, nice to see you. Thanks for coming.
And fingers crossed for everybody else. And yeah, so he was talking about that one. It's such a interesting way of the way he talks about actors in generally, but he was talking about the kid actor, and I've seen him in many roles before. He's been using. He's a New Zealander, the kid I'm talking about, but it's really good. He played Rusty. Okay, if you say so. I think so. He's the kid who has a power, and he's kind of, he doesn't know what to do himself, and he basically asks Deadpool for advice. And Deadpool's like,
yeah, right.
Wrong person to talk to me about it. It's hilarious. Go watch Deadpool if you want to have a laugh and get a little bit cross. Why not? It'll make your day, maybe.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
Maybe.
I'll check it out. Yeah, Deadpool is not a character that's ever interested me, but it's kind of what Gore Vidal is saying. But I've heard good things about the movies and they look ridiculous. They look pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like ridiculous in a good way is what I mean by that.
And my favorite character is that blind lady from Deadpool. When you watch it, you'll know what I'm talking about. She
Right.
basically, she's a pensioner who snorts cocaine.
Oh yeah, right.
And she has a gun. And they always say, it's like, don't point it at me. And she's not pointing at him. He's like, don't point it at me, the gun, because she's blind.
Right.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, sorry. I like Deadpool.
Yeah, cool.
So that's how much. Anyway, it's okay. So I've lost the plot now. Where we at? Are we saying goodbye?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's almost been 3 hours. That's pretty epic.
Well, there you go, people. Epic comeback is called.
Yeah.
So, okay. Thank you very much, people, whoever showed up. Like a lot of them are right at the end, which is fantastic. And hopefully we'll see each other whatever next weekend, if we okay with schedule and if I'm mentally stable. But anyway, that's another thing to talk about. Enjoy your movies. Now I'm gonna want to watch Ghibli movie now because of you guys. I'm probably gonna.
Have you seen Nausicaa? Have you seen it?
I've watched all of them like 3 times back, probably 5 times. I still love all of them. And
me as well.
Peach Momoko. Not Peach Momoko, that's the artist. Something Mononoke, Princess
Ponyo.
Mononoke.
Oh, Princess Mononoke. Yeah.
I like that a lot. And Ponyo is my favorite.
Ponyo is unbelievable. I love that one.
They show that ramen bowl and it makes me always hungry. And because they get so excited, it's like, oh, I want ramen soup now.
I just saw a statue online, a Ponyo statue that looked beautiful. Yeah, it looked really beautiful. Yeah,
why do you have to end like that?
Because Ghibli is so popular, it's that kind of stuff is all over the place, right? So, but it looked really nice. I think I follow Studio Ghibli on Twitter because I just love seeing some of that stuff. But yeah.
Oh, good luck with Marvels. I'm not even sure what people think about it, but talking.
I've heard good things so far.
Oh, is it good? Brie Larson's new Apple TV series is intriguing. It's based in
Okay.
the 50s, where she's a supposed to be scientist, but in that time females didn't have enough say, and she's part of this group of in the university. It's only she has masters, but she isn't really part of the same level as the males are, and she's just a lab assistant because
Mhm.
God forbid you promote females. And then she finds this fame by creating a TV show. But Brie Larson's acting skills for first episode was intriguing for me.
Yeah, cool.
Oh,
Just on Gore Vidal's point before
yeah.
you go away, yeah, Barnes and Noble 50% Criterion sale going on in November. First thing I would say to that is, if you haven't seen Come and See,
Come and see.
100% you need to order that from Criterion, especially considering the way the world is going these days with all these fucking wars all over the place and people
Mhm.
getting killed by the fucking boatload. Come and See is a essential viewing. And second of all, I would say subscribe to Criterion. Go to their website and subscribe to their newsletter. They do 50% off sales as well, usually around the same time as Barnes and Noble. Nothing against Barnes and Noble. Support Criterion directly. Order directly from them during their 50% off sale. They hold them a couple of times a year as well. So subscribe to them and order directly from Criterion. But Come and See, anti-war movie. Read Joe Sacco's Palestine. You can also read Joe Sacco's footnotes in Gaza as well too. But yes, anti-war messages are something that we need in abundance, which is why I'm wearing my Brutal Truth shirt today. You need to see that, but Come and See is unbelievable. It's just an amazing movie, gut-wrenching as far as an anti-war movie goes. You'll never see a more powerful anti-war movie.
Interesting. It's directed by Russian?
Yep, correct.
Elem Klimov.
Yep.
1985.
The main character, this boy, the boy is an unbelievable actor. Yeah, Chris Hedges with Joe Sacco. That is correct. Yes. And Chris Hedges quote, one of his quotes has stuck with me lately. The only winners in war are the maggots is one of Chris Hedges' quotes when it comes to anti-war stuff. So keep that in mind.
Cool. There you go. So much.
There you go.
So subscribe to Criterion, basically what he's saying.
Subscribe to Criterion and support them directly. Not that Barnes and Noble isn't somebody you should support. They absolutely are, but I like to go to the source with that stuff. Go to Criterion and support that company directly. They've done amazing stuff over the years. Everybody here is aware that I'm a big supporter of Criterion. So yeah.
Sponsor crack. Come on, Criterion.
Sponsor me. And guys like Sean Phillips Sean Phillips, Dan Clowes. They've done some artwork for that company as well too. And they've also put out Ghost World. Criterion did a Ghost World release, which is Daniel Clowes, and there's a Daniel Clowes commentary track on it that is so entertaining to watch. It's really, really great.
Are you getting Monica?
I've read it. I've read it. Yeah.
Where is it, the review?
I'm waiting for a bit since it's still new. It's one I haven't talked about yet. I want to wait until more people read it, because in order to talk about it, you've got to spoil it. Like, you just have to. And I don't want to do that since it's still too early. I want to give people a chance to read it and not say anything other than I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Cool.
But yeah, maybe in another month I'll talk about it. I'll wait a little longer before I talk about it.
Because I was wondering, are you getting? Because I heard like quite a few of you guys already, who I know from YouTube, already got some. So I was thinking, cool. Yeah. All right, people. You see, so much information we provide. Thank you very much for you all as well. Yours information's as vital as ever.
Later.
So I'll press this.
Come and see me tonight on my Sunday wrap.
There you go. There you go. Yep. Advertisement for the rest of the night. Bye.
Bye.